Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Oh, man.
Throwing knockout punches tonight. Good evening, A2D family. Thank you for tuning in on this wonderful Friday evening. We appreciate you guys all being here at the new time, 9 o'clock. Tonight we have some special guests with Mr. No Notes himself, Tom Arnone. We have Ryan Brodo. We have Ralphie. And we also have Rob Brinkman here tonight. Happy to have all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Andy, what's going on? John, what is up? Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Tonight we are going to talk about a little bit of the ridiculousness that we have seen out there with, CBS talking about Doug Pederson not being better than some of these coaches out here. We're going to talk about the Eagles' offensive weapons, and then whatever your heart's desire. Throw your questions, comments, whatever you want our way, and we will take it as it comes. Guys, why don't you take this time to say what's up? Ryan, start with you.
So, on every single Wednesday, producer on the Tuesday shows, the Thursday shows, and most importantly,
how are we doing here? We're doing.
Like, this is like, yeah.
Right.
Resumes. Somebody can knock me off guard. I didn't know. Was this resume 101? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Did you not bring your resume with?
I was going to say, isn't that the thing? Isn't that the thing? That's what I did last time.
Ryan, you can happily tell the people what your show is. And Tom, I love always busting. We were busting before the show even began. So this is going to be a great show tonight. Hope you guys are strapped in. Ryan, go ahead and let us know, brother.
Well, the most important thing is I'm here to make Ralphie's life as difficult as possible. I should have just kept it at that. That's what I usually do.
No, go ahead. He's doing a show Wednesday. He produced a ton of shows. Does a ton of content here.
You know what to find. You know what to find.
Guys been here forever. Love you. If they don't know who the hell you are by now, they need to get a clue. Ralphie, they probably don't know who you are though. So if you want to go second,
Ralphie, go ahead.
My name is Ralph. I do everything for A2D. Basically, you can find me everywhere.
You're an idiot.
Content.
You're an idiot.
Do a lot of producing for the guys. All the interviews go through me, so they got to come through me first as well. On deck tonight, we got Swedish Fish.
God damn it!
We got some pistachios, and that's basically it. So we're feeling good tonight.
And a bed that's not made.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to get in it later tonight. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Excuse me? What?
Stay prepared. Stay prepared. That's what we like to hear. Rob, thanks for joining us. Actually, this is the first time you have been here at the Road to Victory.
Yeah, I'm glad we found you, Jimmy. You do a great job. I've listened to a handful of your shows. Love the schedule. Love the win-loss schedule episode, the best probably. I host the Sports Hounds. Yeah, it was because of you, obviously. Yeah. Win, bye, win. I'll find a loss here and there, but not this one. That's the favorite Tom Warner catch note for the schedule show. But yeah, me and Brad Ryer, we locked down Monday nights. We got another great guest coming Monday night, 7 o'clock. First ever DH, Ron Bloomberg. Brad's really excited. He finally got a New York guy to come on, so I got to play ball with him since he's a good sport with all of our Philly guys.
Big news, and that's awesome, man, especially with the new DH rules coming out. So very exciting, and thank you to every single one of you guys. You guys know who Tom is, and he loves to bust on people, but these are all some all-star members of the team.
Not a lot of people do, but
I don't know. I don't get a turn to say I pay for the LLC and the bills here. I don't get that opportunity for
you're getting it right here. I'm just laying out the carpet.
Yeah.
But Tom, thank you. You've been here every week, and can't thank you enough. And I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity here. So anybody that does not know Tom, he is the guy that runs this ship, and I can't thank him enough. So I want to give him this opportunity for any of you guys. Thank you for your first time people tuning in, and thank you to everybody that said what's up at the bottom there. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday. Happy 4th of July weekend. Tom, why don't you go ahead and give us a hello?
What's up, peeps? What y'all doing? About to light some freaking fireworks, jump in pools, get reckless this weekend. Keep your 6 feet. Have a clue. We need football. All right, mask the hell up, because if you people keep me from watching football in the fall, then we got a problem. You want to talk about dividing the country? That's going to be the divide in the country. You take football away from the people, that's when people start getting reckless. Okay, right now we're calm. We're going through our business. We expect football. If you young Thundercats keep football from us, you don't want to deal with the 30 to 40.
You signing that waiver, Tommy? You going to the link? You signing that waiver?
No.
Listen, there's zero shot that you're putting any waiver in front of my face through this process, and I'm signing on the dotted line. Never will happen.
That's why you are the leader of this ship, Tom, bringing us that knowledge, because hell no, we will not be signing any waivers here. We all love the thought of just having football back, though. It's very scary thinking that. So, Tom, yes, everyone, put your damn mask on. 6 feet away, but have yourselves a great weekend.
Yeah. Following it up with a great weekend. I'm excited to talk birds with you tonight. It's going to be fun, boys.
Yeah, and thank you, Tom. So thank you to each and every one of you guys for tuning in. And tonight's show is actually brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Find that at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. They are the Cherry Hill, Burlington, and Princeton locations. Also, check out Ambuck Services. They are our gutter guys. You can check them out at Ambuck Services, AMBUCK Services.com. Also, check out our merchandise at PhillyDrinkers.com. Greatly appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, this is, month number 2 we're going on, and this has been phenomenal with all you guys tuning in, with all your comments, all the insane stuff that's been going on. We even get our trolls, and Tom usually takes care of that. So always look forward to those moments. Having to, just take a moment to sit down and educate the masses. It's a great time. So I appreciate all of it. Ralphie, another little zoom in there on you. Appreciate you being here tonight, man. Ralphie is usually the producer of the show.
I'm just here for the ride,
Hey, man, appreciate that, brother. Now, we're going to, why don't we start off, because this is something we started talking about in the chat. This is the poll question. This is not something I agree with. I figured maybe put some poll questions up that I disagree with every once in a while. So we saw that CBS had Doug Pederson ranked number 9 behind the likes of Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, people that have not beat Doug Pederson and the Philadelphia Eagles. Battered and broken have not beat Doug Pederson and the Eagles. That's great. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We were getting a little fired up even before the show started because we're talking about, in our minds, what we think the top 10 is. We're not really going to sit here and be like, all right, here's the top 10. We're just going to sit here and give you our thought process on what the hell CBS is thinking and where our head's at. So, Brian, you're up at the top there at the corner. Why don't you start us off? Doug Pederson at number 9. What the hell? Is that even, where you have him at? Is he in your top 5, top 3, top 10? Where are you looking at Doug Pederson here? And is this ridiculous to you as it is to me?
Jimmy, the only thing more ridiculous than that list and putting Doug Pederson 9 was 24 hours later, the video that the guy, don't even know his name, made as an explanation to the masses on why he had Doug Pederson at 9 and why he had Sean McVay at 5 or 6, or regardless of where he had him. It doesn't matter because Sean McVay, in my opinion, should not be anywhere in the top 10, let alone in the top 5. Doug Pederson, to me, he's a top 5 head coach. We can have debates on if he's top 3, top 5, it doesn't really matter. But to me, there's no argument. There's no debate that Doug Pederson is not only a better coach, but a way better coach than Sean McVay. It's just, we were talking about it. I believe it was on Wednesday, Tom. You brought it up. Somebody had it as the dumbest thing of the week. And we looked at it, and then somebody in the comments was like, oh, well, and Sean McVay brought that team to the Super Bowl, and they had, they really didn't have a lot of talent. Not a lot of talent. I could argue the last 3 seasons, they had the freaking dream team. And they they put up, 3 points in the Super Bowl? 3 points. You decided because it's either he's a liar or he's just not a smart head coach at all with the Todd Gurley situation. It's either he was injured or he was healthy. Either way, you would think that if he's a little banged up, which They didn't even say he was banged up in the Super Bowl. They said that he was healthy, and they just didn't put him on the field. The fact that you do not put on somebody who is, I don't even think it's arguable, more valuable than Jared Goff and the quarterback, the guy who allows the offense to gel and run the way it is, and you just leave him off of the field for a good portion of the game. I've never seen a guy so overhyped with doing so little. Where are his championships? Where are his multiple straight playoff appearances? I don't see it. Doug Pederson won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback with a shred of injuries, 3 straight seasons of making the playoffs. You look at the last 2 seasons to where they were dead, they were out, and then what do? His leadership brings them back. Sure, the play on the field obviously plays a role into that. The players have to play, but you're starting to see that even when we are counted out, our backs are against the wall, the whole underdog mentality, to me, that starts and ends with Doug Pederson. That's a culture. He's a culture changer. So to me, the fact that he was behind Sean McVay, not only by 1, but by 4 coaches, and 2, the fact that he's not in the top 5 in the list is ridiculous. I have him 4th as in my coaching rankings.
I love it, Ryan. And I agree. I have McVay down there at the bottom too. I have him around 8, actually. One of the things I struggled with was actually putting Mike McCarthy actually made the list. And obviously I hate the Cowboys, but I'm not going to sit here and say that, a guy that won a Super Bowl has a better win percentage than a lot of these guys doesn't make the top 10, especially over guys like Kyle Shanahan. Now, Tom, I'd like to hear your thoughts, on McVay, but also Shanahan, because we had talked about this a little bit. What are your thoughts on this? Them putting someone like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay in front of Doug Pederson. Where do you see him standing?
Well, it's a disgrace. Okay, because first off, you want to talk about McVay. Okay, great offensive mind. Supposedly, Cooper Kupp goes out. That offensive mind went away real fast, huh? So how great of an offensive mind? You have a number 1 pick in the draft as your quarterback, your franchise changer. You go into the Super Bowl. Scared money don't make money. They look scared. They played scared, and that represents your head coach. Okay, so do I have him in my top 10? Yeah, he's probably 9 or 10. I think he needs to prove it more. Right? He came in hot. He was the young guy. Everybody fell in love with him. He was as young as the players. That's cool. Okay, but now you don't make the playoffs last year. You don't even make the dance. That's underachieving big time. And to me, you have no right being in the top 5. And who was the other guy you wanted me to mention besides Doug?
Shanahan.
That was who it was. Kyle Shanahan. He's done it for 1 year, essentially, right? Okay. I need a track record for guys to be in my top 5. You just don't hop in top 5 because you're the hot name, right? And you went to a Super Bowl last year and blew another lead. Let's be real. Blew another lead. So how confident are you in that guy to put him in your top 5? That's a disgrace, a flat out disgrace. That's falling in love. That's falling in love too soon. A lot of guys do it out there. You see it around. All right, we all see it. When the guy falls in love in 2 months, she's running. Okay, we know how that ends. We've been down that road. Okay, so at the end of the day, like Ryan said, I look at what he's done. You talk about Doug Pederson, Super Bowl. Maybe would have went to the playoffs year 1 if Lane Johnson doesn't get hurt, but that's not fair to say. Didn't, okay? But because I think they were 4-1 before he went out. Year 2, they go Super Bowl with all the injuries. Year 3, playoffs. Year 4, playoffs. Okay? Any way you want to look at it, with injury after injury after injury. We talk about representing your head coach, representing your head football coach, right? We talked about with Sean McVay going into the Super Bowl scared. What does this football team do in terms of, do they play as their head coach? They absolutely do. They play for the guy. They love the guy. They take on his toughness, and it translates. It's not all about X's and O's sometimes, guys. Mike Tomlin, who's number 2 on my list, is not Uncle X and O. Okay, let's not act like he's this mad genius. He's tough as nails, and his players play for him. At the end of the day, you got to be a player's coach / a guy that can get guys going. That's sort of how I coach. I'm a combo. Right, if I got to get on you, I'll come hot. But at the end of the day, I want you to play loose. I want you to play hungry, and let's go eat. And that's how Doug Pederson and Mike Tomlin go about their business, hence why they're 2-3. Bill Belichick's on another level. He can be a dick to everybody in the world and just win. That's another level talk, okay? He's on a whole other planet than any one of these coaches. Mike Tomlin's right there with him. Just needs more Super Bowls to put him in that same echelon, right? But Mike Tomlin goes to the playoffs every year. Every year. Why? Because he's tough. His football team takes on his personality. And that's what the Philadelphia Eagles have done under Doug Pederson. I honestly, when this team has talent, like they did in 2017, still left on the field, they're going to go to another Super Bowl real soon. Real soon. And he might even win another one. And if he wins another one, then you start talking about, because I got Andy 4. I just got Andy 4 because Doug's my guy.
Yeah,
that's it.
Hey, we talked about it, man, because Andy Reid, he gets a lot of love, and we love him. He was our coach 13. Oh, yeah, I don't care. I really don't. You see his track record. You see he struggled at times. Sure, he's done great. Just finally won his first Super Bowl, dude. I'm with you on that, but I agree. Mike Tomlin is up there with me as well. He's like the AFC version of Doug Pederson. He really had to deal with the same thing, the injuries, all of that bull crap, and he still brought his team into the playoffs last year. So amazing stuff from these guys, Doug Pederson and Tomlin. So I agree with you there.
Well, another one. I mean, real quick, another one. The 5th guy on my list is Pete Carroll. Why? Players play for him. Okay, players take on his identity. All he does is win football games with not the greatest rosters ever. They just win games. So I look at guys who just win games. Sean Payton overrated, he's still in my top 10. Sean McVay overrated, still in my top 10. Okay, because I'm not an idiot. But Sean Payton can't win with how much talent the Saints have year in year out. I don't even see him in NFC title games. It's a disgrace. So you can tell me about the blown calls or whatever. They've underachieved. So I'm going to look at the guys who constantly achieve. That's all.
No, I love it. I agree with both of you guys so far. And Ralphie, we're going to get your thoughts on it because, it's hilarious to all of us so far because clearly we see the things that Doug has done with a, pedestrian group of receivers and all the injuries, everything that has gone on. So what are your thoughts on him being back there? And, what do you think of guys like Pete Carroll and Sean Payton? Are they better than Doug? And you can also give the thoughts on, McVay and Shanahan being in front of him.
Well, just going on Doug first. I mean, what he's done for the past. Oh no, I won't. I won't take your spotlight. I won't take your spotlight.
You have a double when you go too long. That's all.
Yeah.
When you cliff note, that's when you're great. When you cliff note, that's when you're your best.
Don't worry, I won't take the light off of you. But let me go real quick.
I don't want the damn light. I get enough sun every day. Go ahead.
No, that's 50-50. For Doug Pederson, I mean, what he's done for the past 3 years, obviously comes into the league, second year in, wins the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, 2018. Has Carson Wentz for a little bit, then Nick Foles comes in, and it's like, well, here comes the wheels. Wheels are falling off the bus now, and then rallies the troops together and obviously does what he does in 18. Then the next year after that, basically the same thing, right? Injuries after injuries after injuries after injuries. You thought by like week 13, you're like, all right, when you lose the Dolphins, it's like, all right, this season's done. Just everybody was talking, should we lose out to get a better draft pick? Should we do this? Should we do that? But yet again, Doug Pederson rallied the locker room up, right? Went on that winning streak and got to the playoffs, and it sucked how it ended last year. But to have him that low and to have Sean McVay, a guy that he's beaten twice already, right? He's 2-0 against McVay. So if we're doing, I guess the records go out the window on that as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Doug Pederson should be way higher.
I agree. And it's ridiculous. Like you said, 2-0 against him, and he's 1-0 against Shanahan. So both of them are ridiculous. And you talked about, what Doug has done in his first 4 seasons going to the playoffs in 3 of those seasons. And 2 of those honestly, 3 of those we had no business. Everyone said we'd be screwed when we got to the playoffs with Nick Foles. We really stunned the world all 3 years. So it's been amazing what Doug Pederson has done with this team. So I completely agree with you all so far. And I think Doug is going to really step his game up. And I think people like Scangarello, adding people like that to his locker room is really going to help him out. So, Rob, last but not least, why don't we get your thoughts on this ridiculous list here?
I mean, 9's way too low. I mean, he's got a ring. He should have a coach of the year, which Sean McVay got. I don't know how in 2017. Ridiculous. The list is a little out of whack, to be polite about it. Obviously, Bill, Andy, that's pretty good. But, I'm going Tomlin 3, Carroll 4, and then Doug 5. My criticism of Doug from last year, it's widely regarded. I don't want to go down the path of why they had to go on a 4-game winning streak last year to make the playoffs against the Little Sisters of the Poor, but I will because I want to get Tom fired up. Home loss to Detroit, unacceptable.
Yeah.
Guaranteed a win against Dallas, took it back, got your 38-0, whatever the score was. Terrible, unacceptable.
Doors blown off.
The fake field goal in Minnesota. My God,
let's not forget about that one. You
had a chance to really grab the momentum right there before halftime, and I'm all for taking chances. I love Dougie Big Balls, but time and a place. Kick the field goal, get that momentum back, give yourself a chance in the second half, and then you shoot yourself in the game's over. On my 30th birthday, by the way. So extra salt in that wound there. And then you come out after Thanksgiving and you lose to Miami. So, that's all cute and great last year that they made a run and won the East and beat Cowboys crumbled like they always do. But, I mean, if you're going to look me in the face and tell me the Eagles were a good football team last year, I'm going to sit and laugh at you. And there's no way Doug Pederson yet is a better coach than Andy Reid. I mean, just body of work stuff. And body of work is why I have Carroll over him as well. And Tom hit the nail on the head. Tom hit the nail on the head with Mike Tomlin, and then Belichick is on a different planet. As far as these new guys on the block, like Shanahan and McVay, I mean, they're pretty good coaches. If they were the coach of the Eagles, I wouldn't be trying to get rid of them or fire them or anything, but I'm definitely taking my guy over them. And then two guys and Harbaugh, I mean, talk about stock down after the playoffs last year. I mean, good God. I mean, that's a bad loss to the Tennessee Titans last year in the playoffs at home by Harbaugh. And nail on the head with the loaded rosters with the Saints, and I hate the Saints. They're always bitching about something. Never get it done. And then two guys that didn't get love in the top 10 and I think should get love in the top 10 was mentioned in the comments there that flashed up on the screen. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Terrific coach. Never going to get any love because he hasn't won anything yet. Hopefully that's coming with Brady down there in Tampa. And a big fan of Mike Vrabel down in Tennessee. I think he's building a monster down there in the AFC South. So that's just my thoughts on the list. By CBS, but Doug's top 5, definitely better than McVay. I'm happy he's my coach, but I need more 2017, 2018 Doug, because I could do without some of that nonsense last year from Doug.
Yeah, I mean, fair assessment last year. I mean, that's fair, but they still rallied, and I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah, and I would 100% rather have a player's coach like Pete Carroll, Tomlin, or Doug than some nerd like Kyle Shanahan or McVay or that little worm down there in New Orleans, Sean Payton. So,
and Greg's an idiot, by the way. Greg, you're a flat out moron. The fact that you say 7 or 8, you're literally on your knees for John Harbaugh somewhere. Okay, which is ridiculous. Like a home loss with
those playoff losses were huge last year.
John Harbaugh. Like, he's got his ring. I get it. But, John Harbaugh.
A lot of these guys have a ring. Mike McCarthy has a ring. I mean.
Yeah, but am I putting him in my top 10? He was just out of work for how many years?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just agreeing with you that I don't think a ring just necessarily gives you all the props because someone like McCarthy has a ring.
Yeah, Harbaugh, look, he's a real guy. He's a Reid guy. Obviously a good coach, but third in the NFL, John Harbaugh?
I don't think so.
Sorry,
No, I mean, that's just overrating a guy. I mean, you want to talk about a love fest, Greg? That's a love fest. I mean, anybody going to put him 3? I mean, I saw him in my top 10, but let's get a clue here. Okay, when I talk about my top 5, it's guys who consistently win. Not saying Harbaugh doesn't consistently win, but their players play up to them. Right? You look at all these coaches that are in there, their players play up. Might not have the best rosters. Did the Patriots always have the best roster? No, they didn't always have the best roster. Guys played up. Guys, for whatever reason, because of Brady and Belichick, guys played up when you have greatness around. Right? Same thing with all the Steelers rosters. Not always loaded. Had some real good players. Don't get me wrong. But guys played up. They found guys. They drafted guys late. They developed guys. Right? And then you look at Doug, it's the same thing. Like, Doug and Andy are right there for me. The only reason I put Doug ahead of Andy right now was just because how fast he won a Super Bowl, and how he did it. You know what I mean? So I just give him, because I've always had him. I had him above Andy after the Super Bowl, and then Andy won one. I just haven't changed it. So Andy can stay where he is.
Well, I agree with you, Tom, because we were saying, Andy Reid, I love the guy, but he's not like how some people are like, oh, this guy is the second greatest. Like, look, I understand he helped, innovate with a lot of the passing and stuff. But
are you a little salty there, Jimmy, because he didn't win a Super Bowl here and he won and Tommy too? I mean,
I'm going to be real with you.
Hold on. I ain't sorry at all. I called him dad. I called him dad for 12 years. Don't start saying me salt.
I love the guy. Yeah, I love the guy. Don't get me wrong.
I'll tell you all night, Arnon.
I got him number 2. I just
20
don't
years.
think
He's
that,
never had back-to-back losing seasons. He's probably the greatest
he's
QB
amazing.
of all time. And
I'm just saying, I don't think he runs away with it.
Come on.
I think Tomlin's a lot closer than people think. I think, for me, when I got there, it was, like Tom said, people that are winning, that don't have these things where you're like, man, you lost at home like that. You're looking at people like Doug Pederson where you're like, holy, you won with that. And, I agree with Rob, though, to an extent where, you don't want to see a lot of that stuff. But, a lot of the injuries and a lot of things that happened last year forced Doug to, I think, make a lot of terrible decisions. So, I agree with what he's saying, but I also put it into context and understand that it's like, okay, maybe with a healthy team, Rob, maybe we won't see that. And I think
they're already not healthy this year, Jimmy.
Oh, I know, Brooks. It's killing. I know.
Stop with injuries. Every team. I know the Eagles have had bad luck with injuries, but every team gets injured. Every team's banged up. I hate that excuse. That's not an excuse for an idiot on game day like Doug last year. Sometimes
it's never an excuse. It should never be an excuse.
It's unacceptable.
Nope, and that's why and you'll not hear excuses. The Eagles definitely should have had more depth at positions where they lost people.
Hold on. You name an Andy Reid roster here in Philadelphia that was worse than any one of his rosters that won a Super Bowl or won a playoff game or went to the playoffs. Somebody tell me, because there ain't a roster through Andy's tenure here that Doug's rosters would even sniff. They were loaded.
20 years he's done it. Andy Reid's 20-year resume.
No question, I got him 4, Rob. Yeah, I got him 10. I got him 4. I got him right behind Doug. He was here for years. Listen, Andy is my father. I called him dad for years, but let's not act like his rosters weren't loaded up.
Everyone's dad, everyone's son, everyone's this. I get it.
You still haven't answered my question. Are any one of our rosters?
All you're doing is freaking screaming at me. What question?
There was a simple question, and maybe you can't hear when a guy gets a little vocal, honey. That's for you to check your pulse on, not me. But what I'm trying to tell you is, name any one of Doug's 3 rosters.
That's a good point.
Can't sniff his Reid's rosters through that run. They were loaded. First he had 5, and then everything else. Them defenses were top 5 all the time. So I'm not saying he underachieved. He did exactly what he was supposed to. Andy Reid's a great coach. Great coach to me. Okay, and the Super Bowl just puts the nail in the coffin for how great he is. Okay, and he deserves it. I'm just giving Doug a little nod right now.
You don't think 17 ranks with those great Reid teams of 08 was a good one. 04 was really good. But like 03, that wasn't anything. 17 was better than 03, the team that lost to the Panthers. No?
I don't know. How great was that defense, though?
17 was better than the team that lost to the Rams in the NFC Championship game. That puppy team.
But look who's on the football field. You're talking about Bobby Territory Vincent. I mean, there hasn't been a secondary here that can sniff it. Brian Dawkins is on the field. Don't you, because they were young, try to act like, well, that roster, they were young puppies. They were Hall of Famers. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
And on top of that,
having a bunch of trash in 03 and 01.
Half the roster was hurt in 17, right?
I would have taken Todd Pinkston and James Thrash. I would have gone and pick up Todd Pinkston and James Thrash last year. I would have went and picked them up.
My point to answer your question is the 2017 roster, top to bottom, ranks right up there with every Andy Reid team besides 04.
No, it doesn't. My franchise quarterback's on the pine. It doesn't rank there. My franchise quarterback's on the pine. All 5 of my captains are on the pine. Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
It was they had a great loaded team and all the stars aligned. Something the stars never aligned for Andy Reid and Don McNabb here for whatever reason.
No, absolutely. It's a shame because he deserved it.
He
definitely deserved it. They had a great top to bottom roster. Even if you put Nick Foles on that team, 17 was a loaded roster. What Blunt did for that team, the running game, the line was unbelievable. You have Ertz, you had Torrey Smith, Aguilar, Jeffrey. Pretty good receiving core. Better
than that. Receiving core in 03. Yes.
Are we
better.
03, 02, 01.
Can I
saying that's a better receiving core.
I've ever seen. Even though they didn't win, 04 is the best, most talented Eagles roster.
Yeah.
For team.
I was saying 03 had 03 wideouts weren't anything special for you.
Smith.
So no, in that terms, offensively, I'll buy into that on the outside there was more talent. When you had Ertz in the mix, there was more talent. But defensively, it's not close. I don't care. The line is right there. Real quick, the line's right there.
2017 defense caused a tremendous amount of turnovers.
No, I'm saying the front was loaded. The front was loaded, but the corners don't even compare to 03. It's not even fair. Now the secondary in McLeod.
03 was the last year of Vincent and Taylor, correct?
I believe so.
Was that the Shepard, Sheldon Brown? I mean, they had loaded secondary. They had Jim Johnson. They had physical, Lito Shepard, Sheldon Brown, Michael Lewis. They had great teams, but Jenkins was phenomenal. I mean, look, I think you're selling the talent level of the 2017 team a lot.
No, I'm just saying the 5 captains are gone. That's all.
Ryan,
I just have one question. When we're talking about loaded rosters, why the hell is Torrey Smith and Nelson Aguilar coming up? Because number one, Torrey Smith.
We just talked about getting the most out of talent.
But there's a difference between a loaded roster and getting a lot out of talent. There's two separate things. I mean, we can talk about getting a lot out of Corey Clement. He's not a superstar.
And getting the most out of what you got. It's a hard cap league, Brodo.
But at the end of the day, it's two separate arguments, Rob. You're talking about a loaded roster doing the job or a good head coach doing the job. It's two separate things. We had Corey Clement, who was an undrafted free agent, who was gone for the last 2 years. I mean, are you serious? Like Torrey Smith, he was a shell of himself.
This team missed Torrey Smith last year. I don't know if you noticed.
I could say they missed me and Ralph last year, if you haven't noticed. I mean, if we really want to argue.
Very nice compared to the trash I watched last year.
But that's not saying anything. That's more of a shot at last year.
I know. It's not.
You guys are still going on stupid shit. It's real simple. They didn't have Zach Ertz. They didn't have Alshon Jeffery. The conversation's over in 03. They didn't have that kind of talent on the outside. It's over. There's nothing else to argue about. If we're arguing about Nelson Aguilar and Torrey Smith, we're not. That's Todd Pinkston and James Thrash. Let's be real. So let's talk about the real talent. Let's argue about Alshon Jeffery and Zach Ertz and compare it to what was on the 03 outside because it wins. That's the end of the conversation. The quarterback though doesn't win. He doesn't. He's. I don't care. Nick Foles won Super Bowl or not. He can't smell 5 jockstrap. So that's the end of the conversation. The end of it. There's no other conversation. Nick Foles is not even close to Donovan McNabb. Never will be. I don't care about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's definitely,
let's argue major position. You know what I mean? Let's argue major position.
And that's the thing. And I don't think anyone's really saying that, Reid's a bad coach. And I'm not sour about anything. I loved Andy Reid. I do love Andy Reid. And I still always will. And I was cheering for him to, I wasn't cheering for the Chiefs, but I wanted Andy Reid to get his Super Bowl ring. But I'll be honest with you. He had his struggles here, but he also did great things when the team was struggling. So I see where people get heated, and this is always a good conversation to have because, we had luckily a guy that came from the Andy Reid coaching tree because, there are so many great coaches that came from that tree where it's phenomenal that we were blessed with one that took us to a Super Bowl so quickly. And if you look at something like Doug Pederson is 11-2, I believe, in elimination games. That's a pretty phenomenal stat, coming out your first 4 years. And I think I remember reading the other day from Thomas Peterson. He had posted something where it was like in the first 4 years, only 7 coaches have made the playoff in 3 years and won a Super Bowl. people like Vince Lombardi. We're talking about some big names, Bill Parcells. So Doug Pederson is definitely a great coach, and I can't wait to see what he does because he's only had 4 years. So, Ralphie, you got anything to throw into this, man?
No, I mean, they kind of take it away. Good job, boys. Hell yeah.
I love it. I love to get the banner going, and you guys keep it coming in the comments. We'll try to get to it. And look, yeah, I see this guy down here. Nick Foles has a ring. Yes, I understand. Brad Johnson has a ring as well. A ring doesn't necessarily just make you a
Trent
good player.
Dilfer has a ring too.
Exactly. So you got to look at what this team was
Tom's
doing.
boy Robert Ory has 8 rings. Guy fucking
Rob kind of alluded to it. This team
I was
was
on
going
your
to-
side for a second. I was completely on your side. I switched it up because I agreed with you on the outside wide receivers. And then you go do this. Like I circled back and actually agreed with you for a second, and then you got to take another jab. This is unbelievable.
We're all about jabs.
Can't win with some of these guys, Ralphie.
Yeah, it's
Get it
hard
happen.
sometimes, It's very hard. Very hard.
Didn't you just you ripped Ralphie for like 10 minutes at the top of the
Yeah.
show? Now
Rob,
you can't.
one thing you did say that I liked though, Sean McDermott was one of the guys that I was also looking at when I was making my list, and I wanted to put him over Shanahan. I love that you brought up Vrabel. That's a great name. What he did with Tennessee, you guys talked about it. He brought those guys a players coach, somebody who did stuff with people that, Tom had said, like, guys you don't even know. They were just stepping it up as a team because the coach was doing the same kind of thing as Doug's doing. So we appreciate stuff like that. So I love that you brought him up. But Sean McDermott, we all know he comes from the Eagles' nest as well. We all miss that little guy. But, he was doing his thing with the Panthers. Now he's here with the Bills. He's made it to the playoffs twice, lost. But, hey, he brought the Bills to the playoffs. My buddy's been a fan his whole life. Finally got to see some playoffs. So I agreed with those guys. I love those names. Guys like Bruce Arians, Ron Rivera, Mike McCarthy are names I struggled putting, Kyle Shanahan ahead. So that was one of the names that made me chuckle a lot. That was
Bruce Arians in my top 10 for sure.
That's a good one, right? So I was going to say, what are some sleeper names you guys, are thinking of? Ryan, why don't you lead us off on some of the coaches that you think, they left off that should be ahead of guys like Shanahan?
Well, at the end of I'll go back to McVay for a second because, we were kind of talking about it pre-show. I have him 13th. I don't even have him in the top. I don't even have him 10.
I think it's a little unfair. I got to know who's above him before.
Yeah, wow.
I need to know who you have above him.
Put it now.
Arians, Vrabel, Carroll, McDermott, Payton, Carroll. Or I'm sorry. I have him 12. Okay, I have him 12. Vrabel, Carroll, McDermott, Payton, Reed, Harbaugh, Peterson, Tomlin, Belichick.
It's fine.
I don't know if McDermott's in front of
Give me again. I need 12 to 8. I don't need the rest.
Arians, Vrabel. What? Well, what's wrong with Arians?
Go ahead. I mean, people get it's another McVay. You get the hat. People fall in love with the hat. What the fuck is that? What does he want? I'm not taking a shot. I like Bruce, but what does he want to deserve to even McVay's done more. He's going further.
He's been to the playoffs 2 out of 6 seasons? Exactly, Tom.
I like Bruce. Bruce, great guy. I love Bruce. And if he was my coach, I'd be more than happy if him as my coach. You know what I mean? So I'm not taking shots at Bruce. He's not ahead of McVay right now. If McVay doesn't go to the playoffs again and Arians does what we think he's going to do, right? Then the conversation can shift real fast. Week 6 next year, that conversation can shift. Right now, though, no, he's not. He's not above him. He's done it. He's been around, and what has he really done?
Well, I can tell you one thing. If you put Bruce Arians with the talent that Sean McVay has had the last 2 years, he's making the playoffs both years. I mean, I've never seen
Maybe
a guy.
we're going to find out real soon, aren't we?
Well, exactly.
Well, I'm just saying, we're going to find out. If he's so brilliant, we're going to find out real soon. You got Brady, you got Gronk, no, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying the media have to be a genius.
Yeah, my point is you don't even have to be brilliant, quote unquote, to win with talent. Funny thing, just make the I've never seen, and maybe this isn't, to me, it's not even about me being a big Arians or freaking Vrabel or McDermott.
No, listen, I would just swap them. So just understand that, in this argument, I'm not throwing Arians down the list. I swap them though, because so it's not like I have Bruce 5 later. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're really just picking. That's all.
I've never seen a guy who's supposed to be the genius do so much less with so much talent. You know what I'm saying? Like that team the last 2 years, and arguably 2 seasons ago, they went and they won to the championship. But let's just talk about last season. They were an absolute mess. Talent up and down the roster. Loaded. Tiers of talent. Mess. Absolute mess. To where they were pissing away games.
But remember something. That Super Bowl hangover talk.
The real thing.
Real thing, though. So like the Niners might have the same thing this year. It just happens. So we're going to find out because it's all about your response in sports. We're going to find out. We're going to find out McVay's response. So if he don't make the playoffs this year, right? Guess what I'm doing? I'm hopping right on your back because Bruce is probably winning 12 games. So
and,
you know what I mean?
and I know this is just one example, but to me, like people, and I'm not comparing the two because they're both. It's like trash and hot trash, so they're both bad. But like. Everyone talks about the decision Pete Carroll or the offensive coordinator, whoever it was, because they like to, shift blame over there in Seattle on not running the ball on the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. To me, something that no one talks about, which is not even just a singular play, it's a decision for an entire Super Bowl. I'll never get over the decision to not put Todd Gurley on the field. 75% of that Super Bowl.
What do we know? How do we not know that's not from up top, though?
You think there's something going on with his knee, though? You really think McVay's that dumb of a guy that he's not going to put Todd freaking Gurley in the Super Bowl?
Well, there's two things.
The guy's knee's shot, Brodo.
No, well,
we don't know this, right? This is what we don't know. We don't know a couple of things. We don't know if it came from up top, right? We never know if it came from up top somewhere. Don't play him, right? And we don't know if it came from Gurley or not. Hey, I'm not good. We don't know.
Well, there's two things that have been said. Number one, and this is why and Ralph, we were talking about this a couple summers ago. I truly believe there's arthritis in the knee. I've always believed that. But
that's fine. But there's what evidence was it McVay's decision? No.
Well, McVay was the one right after the game and all throughout like the week of post press conferences, like season in review press conferences, we were saying the knee was fine. Todd Gurley was saying he was begging to get on the field. So it's like perception. Perception is reality. So unless they're just lying out of their skis, which I think McVay was lying for whatever reason, because why would you lie and say he was healthy when if you just say he was hurt, it would actually make you look better?
Coy. You know who they're going up against, right? They're going up against the greatest coach of all time.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing coy to hope that now Bill's got a game plan for Gurley, and then Gurley don't on the field.
No, this was after. This was after he was saying this. This was after the game. Yeah. No, this is after saying when the reporters were saying, why did you put him on?
A shot at Gurley, right? Maybe it's him saying he's healthy. You know what I mean? Maybe it's him taking a shot at Gurley because maybe Gurley said, you know what, I'm not feeling it. Guys are scumbags. Why do you think they didn't sign him? Just connect the dots. They didn't bring him back for two reasons: arthritis, probably, and maybe he's a crumb. Maybe they're like, you know what? I know. We remember what you did to Super Bowl.
And Rob, to your point, to me, if when you're in the dance, and maybe it's just I'm just speaking for myself here. I'm putting Todd Gurley on the field. Like, if anything, if there's ever a time to friggin' risk it, like we don't know when. If I'm the Rams, I don't know when I'm getting back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Gurley, they can't pick him up.
Yeah, you don't know what the situation is, though.
Well, no, because Gurley wanted to get on the field. That's my point.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
He said it. He was begging.
Are you really taking pro athletes and pro coaches at their verbatim word? Are you kidding me?
Perception's reality, Rob. What do you want me to say?
Are you kidding
The perception is he didn't play. If he was good to go and gave himself clear,
He would have been on the field.
He would have been on the field.
Yep.
I disagree.
You can blame McVay, that's fine. But I'm telling you where it came from. There's a reason he didn't get signed back there. I mean, connect the dots. Connect the dots a little bit.
Let's do that. Let's take it this way. What do you guys think of the Rams this year?
I think they're going to be good again.
That's the thing. We're going to find out what McVay does, and he's got Cup coming back.
They're going to be
good. How are they going to be good, dude?
You know why they're going to be good? Because they got their biggest offensive weapon back, who's more important than Todd Gurley in that offense. You want to know who that is? Do a little homework, Ralphie, before you start coming at me. Okay? I hate you. Cooper Cup's their best receiver. He's God's favorite weapon.
He moves the needle.
You think Goff's as bad as he represented last year?
No, I don't think he's bad as he played last year. I think not having Cooper Kupp killed him because that's his go-to guy.
Exactly.
Like Wentz and Ertz.
I think the Rams are a playoff team.
Me too. They're a playoff team.
I think the Rams are a playoff. I love Cam Akers. I love the spot that he's in.
Yep. They have two top 10 defensive players on their football
Aaron
team.
Donald, forget about defense. Aaron Donald might be the best player in the league.
Yep. Then you
How
got
do you
Jalen
block
Ramsey.
him
Yeah,
without Brooks? That smells like a loss to me without Brandon Brooks. Trying to block him without Brandon Brooks in week 2? I don't know about that.
And you get the best corner in football, in my opinion. So
If he decides to go there. Because he's still in a holdout.
who?
Jalen Ramsey.
I don't even worry about that. They got to sign him.
Well, I
No.
know they have to.
He'll be there.
They
Everybody's,
decided their entire role.
everybody's holding out, right? It's COVID. They got the COVID holdouts.
Hold it out.
Yeah, I have them going like 6 and 10.
If you hold out for contract to try and get more money, it shoots you in the foot. It costs Bell money. It costs Melvin Gordon money. These guys are going to learn quick that you're Jamal Adams, Ramsey, whoever else, they're not missing regular season games. They're not playing that game. Melvin Gordon lost a tremendous amount of money. He should be the poster child for it. Bell still got himself paid, but Melvin Gordon lost a ton of money. And if that doesn't go up in these guys' heads, that missing regular season games costs you money and doesn't prove a point at all, I don't know what does.
Now, you say the Rams are going to make the playoffs. I definitely think they are a playoff contender. That division, though, is loaded.
Very good.
What do you think here? Who do you think is winning that division? I mean, you got the Seahawks, Cardinals, and the Niners all loaded with talent. We talked about the additions last week with the fantasy talk. Do you think the Rams win that division?
Yep, I think the Niners take a step.
I think no. I think the
Niners take a step
49ers.
1 year.
49ers.
Get a quote.
49ers win that division.
Tom says.
And still a great defense, though, Tommy. Still a great defense.
Last.
What'd you guys say?
Niners. Tom and Ralph, are you going with Niners?
I'm going with Niners. Win that division.
Seahawks.
I'm going Niners. I think there's 3 playoff teams from this division. I'm going Niners. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going Niners. I'm going Rams.
Arizona's good, Tom.
They're good, but I don't.
Arizona, Kyler Murray is coming.
Good. I'm going to go Arizona 3. Seattle's going to be 3, but I still think they got a chance to make the dance. They still have a chance, but they're 3 because I can't count out Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. It's hard. They're about the. It's such a tough division. I mean, it could be anybody, really. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think the Rams get over that Super Bowl hangover this year, and they play better. That's all. I mean, I just think they can win the division or at least make the playoffs.
And with Ramsey, you get a whole offseason. I mean, I know the offseason is kind of whatever right now with COVID, but changing teams in the middle of a season like that, trying to fit right into the scheme right there. I mean, I know he got criticized for getting burned a couple times, but he's going to be more comfortable this year out in LA.
Agreed.
Going to pay dividends, but I like the Rams, and Kyler Murray's coming, guys. He is.
Oh yeah,
boy, that boy is a stud. You want to talk about this year's version of Lamar Jackson for you fantasy footballers out there? I mean, you give him DeAndre Hopkins for nothing.
Last week, Frank had number 3? He had Kyler Murray. Frank was a guest from A2D here last week, and we're all excited about him, but he had him top 3 because when you get someone like DeAndre Hopkins added to your offense and Christian Kirk is growing, you have Fitzgerald back again for his 94th season. That's pretty phenomenal. It's going to be exciting to watch that divisional battle.
The most underrated receiver in the entire league.
Oh, for sure. The fact that the guy has more freaking tackles than he does drops as a wide receiver is the most ridiculous stat out there, man.
Catches everything.
I'm talking about
everything.
Yep, he grew up being a ball boy. His dad worked on like the Vikings staff, and he got to watch Chris Carter growing up. So that's a guy he learned from. That's pretty damn good receiver to learn from. So yeah, he's been awesome to watch. I can't believe he's still playing, man. Wild as hell. But yeah, that's going to be a great matchup. One thing I alluded to earlier, we all hate the Cowboys, but we try not to be biased here. So. What do you feel about a coach like Mike McCarthy? Rob had alluded to earlier that, he lost his job. He won a Super Bowl and sure, blah, 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 but he had Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. I mean.
I couldn't do shit with him, Jimmy. Come on, man.
Yep.
Couldn't
So,
do shit. I know he has the one Super Bowl with him, but after that, couldn't even sniff another Super Bowl.
Exactly.
He has a Hall of Fame
quarterback.
Mike McCarthy don't scare me, dude. He doesn't
Ralphie,
scare
why
me.
don't you start us off then, man? Where do you have him as is he a top 10, like a top 15?
He's top 15. He's top 15, but I mean, he couldn't get to another Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. And I understand the whole, once you get to the first one, it's hard to get back. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, the dude's a flat-out stud, okay? He's been a stud ever since he replaced Brett Favre, and you couldn't get back to the Super Bowl? I mean, that tells me a lot about him. Tells me a lot about Mike McCarthy.
Yep, I agree with you 100% on that. Tom, it looked like you had something you want to say on that. How do you feel, man? What's your thoughts on Mike McCarthy and the addition there to Cowboys?
No, I mean, I agree with Ralphie. I mean, I think he's a good football coach. I have no issues with Mike McCarthy. I think he's a smart guy. But again, we saw what you did with Green Bay. I mean, okay, you went to the playoffs yearly, blah, 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 blah. But, at the end of the day, I don't think it's a better hire than having Jason Garrett. But we're going to find out. I think he's a smart offensive guy, but then it's hard to put in your system now in the off season, so that could cause them a little bit of problems, maybe. But overall, I think he's a top 15 guy just coming back. As soon as he comes back, I think you always got to put him in the top 15, and then you see how his comeback happens. You know what I mean? I don't want to put him any higher than say 15 right now because he's got to then come back and prove it too. Like now you're without Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? So like same thing with Brady Belichick. Like they're both going to have an agenda to prove it without the other one. Same thing here. Now you're without Aaron Rodgers. You got Dak Prescott. We'll find out.
Yeah, for sure. And Rob, sorry I cut you off there.
No, it's fine. I just want to make a point. Aaron Rodgers, he kind of blows through coaches. He can't seem to get along with these coaches for whatever reason.
Rob, he's only had 2 coaches so far in his career.
And
Yeah, but 30 months down.
How is that blowing through coaches if he's only had 2 for his whole entire career so far?
I mean, look, his problems.
Come on, Rob. That's stupid, dude. That's stupid.
It's well documented. His problems.
But he's only had 2 coaches through his whole entire career so far.
In college,
but he wins.
So how is that blowing? But I don't understand how that's blowing through coaches.
I'll leave it like this for you, Ralph. His own family don't talk to him. So you can make it whatever you want to make it from there. I'm just gonna put that little crumb out there. His own family don't like him. He don't even talk to his own parents, his own family members. Sure, it tells you what kind of guy he is. He's a jerk off. But I'm not going to say he runs through coaches. I'm just going to say he's a jerk off. But I'll agree with Rob. When you win, the coach stays. That's how it goes. When you're constantly going to the playoffs, coach stays. It's usually how it goes. You don't really fire guys that go to Super Bowls and go to playoff games.
Okay, but then that comment of him blowing through coaches is irrelevant then.
It's wrong.
It's irrelevant then.
But he's a jerk off. I'll agree with that part of it. That's all. I'm just coming in and giving you facts, Ralph. Don't talk to his own parents.
What they do last year, Green Bay? Where'd they go? They were in the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
pretty sure.
They went into the NFC Championship game.
And they lost to that's right. They lost to the Niners. Yeah.
Yep. Yes,
Always
they did.
Dropping the ball. What are your thoughts on this, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, he's like 15 at best. Like he can't be any more than 15. You look at it. I love the other storyline that goes around of like, oh, Aaron Rodgers has been beat up consistently over the last handful of years. He's missed like 9 games in 6 years.
Yeah.
So like, and it was all in one season. Like every other season, he's played all 16. So to me, like I've never seen it organizationally. I've never seen an organization win so little with so much. I mean, you look at just the 2 quarterbacks with Favre and Rodgers. But to me, I mean, you look at it in one season, and I'm not a big Matt LaFleur. I'm not a big Matt LaFleur guy. I don't know if there's any big Matt LaFleur guys here, but in one season, still, and you could talk about, well, I was waiting for the excuse of like, oh, well, that roster was loaded. No, their defense was a little better last year, but once again, Aaron Rodgers still doesn't have anyone else to throw except for Devontae. They have some good running backs, but the first year without McCarthy, they get to the friggin' NFC title game. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if there's any indication of how important Mike McCarthy was, look at the first year with not great talent. I would say with a top 20-ish roster, offensive roster, I guess. And I understand you have one of the best wide receivers in the game in Devontae, but banged up last season as well, missed a lot of games. Gets to the friggin' NFC title game. Walks there. Walk. I mean, it's the most comfortable walk in the game. He just walks. So
you guys said it. I mean, if you have Aaron Rodgers, you should be doing a lot more.
Yeah, why are you saying preach it, Ralph? Why are you saying preach it to Rye? He's proving you wrong. So what the hell are you preaching? You just confused.
How do they not have any roster when we just spent 15 minutes talking about how great Aaron Rodgers is?
Yeah, I don't know what Ralph's talking about. Say preach,
How do they know they got a loaded roster. They don't have a roster, but they have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Their defense was
A quarterback's
pretty
not
good
a quarterback's a
Hold
player.
on. When
Quarterback's not a
was
roster.
when was I talking about the roster? I was going off of what Rob's comment.
about the roster.
I was going off of Rob's comment of him blowing through coaches for his
This guy's
career.
a jerk off, man.
Is he the only?
That's
Is he the only
coaches,
bad
though.
guy in the history of the NFL? Is he the only? I mean, he's also one of the greatest.
When did I
go after the roster? Fucking enlighten me. When did I go after the roster?
I'm not talking. You didn't say anything about the roster. Brodo did.
So
then I have a question. Is a quarterback a player, or is quarterback a roster? So what does the quarterback, one player, have to do with the entire roster? What are you talking
know
about?
how the NFL works, Brodo. If you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, it makes.
I know how the NFL works, but you're just talking about one singular player makes an entire roster better. What the hell are you talking about?
It does. If you're a good quarterback, it makes the whole offense better.
It does.
It does, yeah. I mean,
You have a Hall of Fame quarterback, your whole roster. Gentlemen. It's a quarterback league, please. It's been a quarterback league way before you two started watching football. All right, I'm not here to kill you two, but it's been a quarterback league forever. Look at Marino's rosters when they were going to playoff game after playoff game after playoff game. It was Marino and Shula. They had an Hall of Fame quarterback. Hold on, go through it. Elway, them rosters weren't loaded. They had John Elway. They got loaded when they won a Super Bowl later on in his career, yes, but through the gauntlet, they had good players. But John Elway, right? The list continues of Hall of Fame quarterbacks making their whole team better. You tell me Brady through all these years had loaded rosters, you all need to get a clue. But because of greatness, he made them all better. Quarterbacks make everybody better. You put Devontae Adams with an average quarterback, you ain't talking about Devontae Adams like this. You guys aren't blowing Devontae Adams. Trust me on that. Devontae's a good player, but
Fred says he's got a top. They have a 20-ish ranked roster, but they should be doing more.
Yeah.
So, where is it? Like all over the map? I mean,
why is it all over the map? Why is it all over the map?
It is definitely all over the map here.
20th ranked roster in the league. Did you not?
Yeah, around 20th. Yeah.
Going around the table, crushing them on how they should do more. If they have the 20th ranked roster and they get to the NFC Championship game, that's pretty good. No.
It's because you're quarterback, and it's because
what did I just say? You talked to me.
Your point. You just said
first of all,
what are you talking about?
No,
got him, boys.
No, Tom. I think there's still water in your friggin' ears. I think you might be still. I think half your head might still be underwater because you're not hearing me. Number one, at the end of the day, I never said that quarterbacks don't make rosters better. I said that the narrative that their roster's loaded is ridiculous.
Who said that though? Who said their roster was loaded?
Nobody here, but my point is it's not a loaded roster. I never said that the quarterback doesn't make the roster better.
Then what are you saying?
You're talking in a big circle right now.
I'm not. Shut the hell up. I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'll ask the fans.
The guy's telling you the facts. We love you, but you're talking in circles.
We need a stenographer to read back the argument.
Please.
Ralphie's like, I'm producing. I'm not paying attention. Thanks, Ralph.
Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
But okay? I mean,
I love it. Beautiful.
My only thing was that why am I getting tossed into the roster when I was just going off of what Rob's comment was about Aaron Rodgers?
You're on the screen. That's how you get tossed in.
Yeah, I don't think
you're in the trenches.
Rob, I will make it very clear to you, okay?
I don't know if you can do that, but try.
Oh, I'm trying for Rob. Okay?
No. This ain't about Rob. You got to help me and Jimmy out, too. Don't just put it on Rob. You say
I don't understand.
In the first year without McCarthy, okay, with a non-loaded roster, okay, that's fine, Gavin. That's fine. So I'll do it again. In the first year without McCarthy, they get to the NFC title game, okay?
Understood.
Aaron Rodgers, the guy who's a bad guy, the guy who runs through coaches without McCarthy, had success the first year without McCarthy.
He's great.
He
doesn't mean he has great relationships with his coaches. It means he's great. Him and McCarthy never had a good relationship. He's just great. So guess what the head coach has to do when you got greatness? You shut your mouth and just try to keep winning football games. Doesn't mean they're having lunch and dinner together, brother. It just means that they win together. So I don't know what you're talking about. You just shut your mouth and say, you know what? This guy's a dickhead. He's a big-time dick, but it don't matter because he wins.
But
and
he doesn't run through coaches. He's
okay.
bad too.
I'm the first one who said.
Maybe it's not the best
Hold on.
trade.
I'm the first one who said that Rob was wrong with that, but he's a dickhead. So that's all. When you win, coaches stay. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So let's not act like Rodgers and McCarthy were in love together. They just kept winning. That's it. That's it.
Sometimes you need a change.
That's it. They were just done with each other. Because guess what? Being that much of an like an issue you hear Rodgers is at times, like just his personality, right? And now this is cockiness. Wears on people, man. Doesn't mean you can't keep winning. It just wears. So sometimes the best thing to do is change a coach, and guess where they went? An NFC title game, because guess what? The new coach isn't worn out. He's giddy as shit because he has an opportunity to coach Aaron Rodgers, and he's a young guy. So guess what?
He's not qualified to have that job either.
No, but he fell. Rodgers falls in his lap.
Yeah, and the NFC Championship game because he has Rodgers.
Yeah, it's so it's all.
But they don't have a good roster, but they should be doing more.
Well, yeah, and McCarthy should have done more, and that's why he got stripped of his play calling duties, So like Tom said, sometimes you got to just shut the hell up. So they were like, you know what, if you're not we're going to shut you the hell up. So Rodgers running the shit, so.
You guys realize this, right? Real quick, I know you guys all realize this. You guys are all great football minds, right? So
the best in the business, yeah.
Absolutely. So think about this, right? You call a play in, all right? It happens all the time around the league. Coach brings it in. Quarterback says, nah, I don't like this one.
Yeah, I'm
going to go change it. And that guy does it all the time to you. You don't think that wears? And I'm not saying Rodgers is wrong, but I'm saying Rodgers changes the play call every single time at the line for years and years and years. Not that other guys haven't, but for years. Because guess what? He's that much of a dick.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's not a shot at him. He wins. Because guess what? He can extend stuff. He's so good that the dick doesn't even matter. And to Rob's point, if they didn't constantly win McCarthy would have been gone probably years before he went. You know what I mean? But they just kept winning enough football games that he's like, all right. And he didn't argue. And then probably it came to the point where it's like, I'm tired of this guy. But that's everybody, man. You're with somebody for that long. You're going to get worn out too. So I'm not saying I told you I didn't agree with Rob that he goes through coaches because he doesn't, but he's just not the best of guys. Like you're not gonna have a good time with him.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean,
what do we got? I'm sick of the Packers. What do we got next, Jimmy?
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say, man. So honestly, looking at guys like Mike McCarthy in the NFC East now, we have some other new coaches now. One guy is Ron Rivera, who, we've actually had some time to, watch some tape and see, a little bit of his resume. That's another guy who's actually, a great defensive mind, a guy that, I think is obviously he's had some tough calls in life. And I think he's definitely one of the best. Do you find someone like him above a Mike McCarthy, or where do you see someone like him, and also Joe Judge? Where do you see these guys weighing in?
Pure football coach, Ron Rivera is the second best coach in the NFC East. Pure football. He's in a horrible situation, and he's not going to do anything down there with the Washington, whatever the hell their names are going to be now. But, I mean, they stink. The Redskins stink. Daniel Snyder stinks. Dwayne Haskins stinks. Adrian Peterson's a million years old. They have no receiver. Their defensive front's okay, but – I mean, Rivera, he's a great coach, but he's set up to fail. I like Judge because, I feel like I'm talking Brad into the Giants being an okay football team on Monday nights because I think Joe Judge, that's his name, right? Joe Judge?
Yep.
That is correct.
Yeah. I think I like what I'm hearing from him from a soundbite standpoint. It seems like he gets it a little bit. It see's like he's going to –
He's a great talker. Don't let him suck you in, though, Brinkman.
He's got that candy.
The Giants more than
candy.
I hate the Giants more than I hate the Cowboys. So they don't got to suck me into anything. But I think he's going to do well in New York. I think he's going to be able to handle that media up there. And I like Jones. I like Barkley. Gettleman takes a lot of heat, but he's actually a pretty good GM. He strays off the path on free agents, but he drafts really well. So I like the position of the Giants. So I don't know. We have some good coaches in the NFC East now. It's not going to be a dumpster fire division like it was last year. It's going to be better.
I agree. And I think, people are sleeping on Joe Judge, comes from that Patriots family. So, he's talked a big game. Ralphie, why don't you let us know how you feel about it? It doesn't sound like you're being talked into anything. What do you think? Who's the top of these three new coaches you're seeing here, McCarthy, Rivera, and Judge?
I'm gonna go Ron out in Washington. I agree with Brad. I think he's the second best coach in the NFC East right now. And he's a defensive minded coach, like you were saying, Jimmy. I mean, he's got a lot of toys on that defensive side of the ball now, right? He's got Chase Young, he's got Jonathan Allen, he's got Reuben Foster hiding in the. He's got Reuben Foster now, right?
Yeah.
He's just hiding back there in the middle linebacker core. He's also got Montez Sweat on the defensive line, so they're loaded on the defensive front. And he just brought in a guy that loves defense, so it's gonna be very interesting to see what they do down there in Washington. But like Rob said, he's in a terrible spot right now with the stuff that's happening and stuff like that.
Didn't they trade for a quarterback too?
They got
they brought Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen, yes.
He's better than Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, he brought him back over from the Panthers. In case
Yes.
things don't go well with Haskins, he has the Kyle Allen there. So, yeah, great points, that Ralphie just brought up there. That defense, people do sleep on them. Just that front seven's nasty, but they've got players. They have Landon Collins now. So, you talk about, some of the guys that Ralphie mentioned and Kerrigan's and your Paynes and all these guys, they're definitely going to get to the quarterback. We lost, how Rob had said earlier, we're going to struggle with Donald. We're going to struggle with a lot of these teams that are going to get pressure when you're missing someone like Brooks. So
Brooks
it's going to be tough.
Brooks is a huge loss. I'm concerned.
It is, and it sucks.
I'm tremendously concerned.
Yeah,
Don says Matt Patricia come from the Patriots and he sucks. That's a great point. So it doesn't just mean you're going to be great.
That's the thing about Judge. This Patriots guys.
Eric Mangini.
Daniels flopped. I mean, Romeo Crennel flopped.
Mangini, dude. What a.
Charlie Weiss flopped in college and the pro.
Oh, yeah. How about it? Notre Dame. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Ryan, what are your thoughts on the three coaches, the new coaches that we have here in the NFC East?
Rivera's the only other guy besides Pederson I like in the division. I think he's easily the second best, not only just as a coach, but I think as a culture guy. I think a guy like Rivera is actually going to do a lot of good with the Washington Redskins. I'm not saying in the first year. I'm not saying instantly now that he's here, they're going to be, a division contender. But I think when you talk about sustainability, kind of calming everything down, and also he's a defensive guy, and we all know that they have a lot of talent on their defensive side of the ball, a lot of young talent too. So it's not a hot take to say that the Redskins have been, an absolute mess with Jay Gruden, who I actually like Jay Gruden. I think there's a lot of guys in here that actually think Jay Gruden's a solid head coach, but just he was an example of kind of as his environment, I would say, to where you just look around and he wasn't changing anything there because he just wasn't that kind of guy in the room. Obviously, Rivera does have the Super Bowl championship appearance, obviously not the victory, but I like obviously that addition, and also he's a solid football coach. I think. To me, I think it's ridiculous that he was fired from Carolina, but kind of going to the McCarthy thing, sometimes it's just time for a change. But no, I think instantly when, Rivera became available, the Redskins jumped on him very quickly. And I think that was one of the best decisions they've made in quite an amount of years, to be honest.
Yeah, and I agree with you because, he is a good coach. And, we've all said that, defensive minded. And that one thing they do have is defense. I think one of the huge losses for them, though, was I believe Kevin Stefanski. Didn't he move on to the Rams and go team up with Sean McVay? That was a great.
Stefanski's in Cleveland, which I like.
That's what it is, Cleveland. Yep.
He's the head coach. He's the head coach now.
He left, and that was a huge guy for them. So I think – the Redskins have been falling off since then, and I think they need an offensive mind. Defense, sure, they got that, but Rob alluded to it, man. They are a dumpster fire when it comes to having.
You can't succeed there.
No, and I agree with you 100%.
Take the job if you get offered it.
Yep. So, Tom, did you hear what we were talking about here? We're talking about the three coaches in the NFC East. How do you see this playing out? Who do you think is the best coach in the best position here?
Well, I agree with everybody that's already said it. I have no different opinion. Ron Rivera defensive guy, never had the quarterback that a guy like Mike McCarthy had. So, I mean, never had that. Had good defenses, but again, I think his defenses played up to him a little bit too. So we've been talking about that a lot tonight. So McCarthy's 2 in this division. I mean, not McCarthy. Rivera's 2 in this division. I like the Giants. I agree with Rob. I like what the Giants are doing. I do. I think they're going in the right direction. I like Judge. Just the sample's not there yet, So I got to give McCarthy the edge right now, but it doesn't mean, real soon that the other guy doesn't jump him. I just got to see him. We fell off the right tree to be good at it, but you just got to see.
Exactly. And, we saw in the comment down here, and we talked about, it doesn't matter what tree you come from. We got to see it, just like Tom said. So waiting to see it. But, yeah, it looks like Ron, he has the best head on his shoulders, and we all went through what has happened with Mike McCarthy. And I'm glad I asked that question because that was quite hilarious banter there. But I think one of the names also that was left out that I was intrigued by, I think also put in a tough situation where, Doug Pederson and Mike Tomlin have been in. Now, I'm not saying this guy has excelled like they have yet, but I think he will be given a chance finally. Now, they signed a veteran quarterback. Now, I'm talking about Frank Reich, the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, he was a big help helping us win a Super Bowl. Now, we see that, they lost Andrew Luck retiring early, what he did with Jacoby Brissett, some of the injuries. Do you think a guy like that is actually in the top 10 over someone like Kyle Shanahan? Is he someone over Mike McCarthy in the 15? Where do you guys see someone like that? How do you see Frank Reich playing out right now?
No, I'm not putting Frank Reich over. I mean, I know I made fun of McVay and Shanahan for being nerds and new kids on the block, but I'm not putting Reich over those guys. I'm also not buying Phillip Rivers or the Colts this year. I think the Titans win that division. He's a good coach there. A good coach, not a great coach.
Do you see him over someone like we were talking about McCarthy? Do you see I know that he's fallen off. What do you think?
That's a good one. McCarthy has a ring, so
yeah, gotta give him that edge at least.
I guess I got to go there. I got to go with McCarthy there, even though he's the coach of the Cowboys, and I hate the Cowboys.
I know it's tough,
but Reich. He's
we'll
okay.
see what he does with Rivers. Yeah,
But the only thing that kind of sucks for Frank Reich though is that you thought going into Indianapolis you were going to have Andrew Luck for 15, 20 years, right? And he gets there, and a year in, he doesn't have his franchise quarterback anymore, right? So now you got to roll with Jacoby Brissett, and now you got to roll with Phillip Rivers. So it's going to be interesting to see. But right now, I can't put Frank Reich over a Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay right now.
Definitely. Ryan, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I hate McVay, I can't do that. I can't. As much as I want to, I can't. You know what I mean? I'm surprised there isn't any comment saying like, "Oh, well, Frank Reich has a ring, yeah, but not as a head coach."
Those two are totally different.
If we get there, we're gonna get wild with it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'm not gonna do that thing.
Doug's got two rings.
Yeah. For argument's sake, I could say, oh well, he did a lot with Jacoby Brissett. They went on a little bit of a run, and they had the playoff appearance with Andrew. But I can't do that. I don't even know if I could say that he's over McCarthy. If we're talking about who we'd want to have for the next 10 years, okay, then maybe. Then I could put Frank Reich a little bit higher. But I'm with Rob also. I want to buy into the Phillip Rivers thing now that, he has an offensive line, he has some weapons. But, I mean, Phillip Rivers has thrown a dead football the last 4 years, and he's never won in his entire career. The only way they have a shot to win that division is just because I don't think that division is going to be very good. But no, I mean, borderline top 15 guy, but nothing more than that.
I hear you. And I think the Jags and the Colts maybe will struggle. The Texans definitely losing Hopkins is going to be huge. I don't think Cooks is exactly that replacement. But, like Rob said, I think that, the Titans are going to be the leader of that division because Mike Vrabel has done a great job there. They added that really young guy. What is his name? Oh, man, like D'Anthony. I can't remember. The running back, Devontae Evans, something like that. That kid was pretty phenomenal watching him and thinking about that 1-2 punch with Henry. So I'm really excited to see an old school minded football coach like Vrabel, what he's going to do there, running that ball, running the rock. Tom, what are your thoughts on that? Where do you see someone like Frank Reich?
And he's not ahead of McCarthy yet. He's got to have a track record here. The track record isn't long enough. I like Frank, but maybe he's 15, 16. I don't know. So, somewhere in there, he's not I like him. I think he's a smart guy. But again, you need the sample size of stuff. You really truly do. You can't go off of a couple years with guys. You got to see okay, now, you got a better quarterback in Phillip Rivers and Jacoby Brissett. So let's see. You know what I mean? Let's see. Do you win more games? I know losing Andrew Luck, like Ralphie said, that's hard to do, and hard to move on from. But let's see what he does with a real quarterback again, and see. I mean, like I said, a little run, it was cute. I think their defense is good. Then they got a good offensive line. They got good weapons. So we're gonna find out.
Yeah, for sure.
We're talking about the AFC South. Who coaches the Jacksonville Jaguars right now?
Doug Marrone.
Is it still Marone, right?
Technically.
Yeah, Doug Marrone's still there, and Jay Gruden is now the
Jay
offensive
Gruden, the
coordinator.
OC. I remember that.
So, yeah.
We talked about Jay Gruden earlier. He'll definitely be a head coach again someday, and plays.
I think so.
Can you think? I mean, if the Jaguar, I don't think the Jaguars are going to do anything special. I think they're going to.
He could take over.
They might be one of the worst teams in the NFL just because of what their roster is looking like.
Gardner, if he develops Gardner even a little bit, someone will hire him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if they struggle, but Gardner's doing well, maybe he takes over.
Not in Washington, because you can't do good in Washington.
No, nobody does good in Washington.
Man,
Heard that. But thank you
Not
to
when
John
your
Lynch,
owner-
Darrington Evans. Thank you. Yes, that
Definitely
was
not in
great.
Washington when your owner's giving $35 million to guys that are 35 years and older. So I mean,
Yeah, man. Yeah, always doing that, man. Always.
Yeah.
Dan Snyder, lost at sea, man. I love it. Now, that list, man, we really got off on tangents there. I loved it, though. Really wanted to get your guys' perspective on some of these coaches because that list, clearly from what we talked about, is just flat out wrong. Horrible work, CBS. Ryan, I didn't even watch the guy make an excuse. I saw someone post it, and I was like, not going to waste a minute of my life.
It's 2 minutes that I'll never get back. So
yeah, man, and I appreciate you taking the time and your service doing that, brother, because, some of us have to do that, So, but, these clowns are out here trying to bring misinformation, so we just try to bring what we can, and I really appreciate what all you guys had to say. So, the consensus is, though, we're looking at Doug moving up a few spots here, guys. So CBS, do a little bit of homework, figure some things out. A couple guys that we think you should leave off the list. A couple guys you should add on the list. Now, the other part of the show I wanted to talk about last week. We sat here and we talked about Sidney Jones. We talked about a lot of the defense, a lot of the question marks we have. It was a great show. I really, really loved it. Now I want to talk about, and we get people every week, always the trolls, always, Carson Wentz sucks. 6-10. Like, oh, yeah, man. You know what you're talking about. Thanks, man, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Either way, I wanted to talk a little bit about, because we always talk about the fact that Carson Wentz has not had any weapons. Now he has, but they've been getting hurt or they're old man river, this or that. We went ahead, added some speed. We know that we've got some older weapons that are still here. Hopefully they stay healthy. We've got some guys that are always reliable. We've got two of the best tight ends in the league. We've got a running game. But we got some question marks. Rob said it, injuries happen all the time. But Tom said it with me the last few weeks. So if you know that, are you prepared to let someone like Boston Scott take the reins? Why not bring someone in? So why don't we break down these offensive weapons? We'll talk about the running back room, wide receiver room, and the tight ends, and we'll see what you guys think. Maybe we add somebody, and what you guys think about what the Eagles did in free agency draft, and possibly what they could have done differently or could still do. So this offense, loving it. The wide receiver position was the position that we were all very pissed off. We had guys like Rob Davis, Deontay Burnett, Shelton Gibson, Marcus Green coming on in. Yeah, it was a rough one. We talked about we could have all been playing wide receiver for the Eagles. It was pretty terrible. Well, this year we went ahead and added a plethora of them. We have 14 guys all fighting for a job. We don't know if it's going to be 5, 6. Who knows what's going to happen? But it's going to be exciting. We added some speed. So, Ryan, why don't you start us off here? We're going to talk about the wide receivers here. What do you think about the draft pick? Jalen Reagor, a guy you know that I'm in love with. Adding guys like Marquise Goodwin, John Hightower, Quez Watkins, speed, but a lot of question marks, man. Now, everyone keep in mind before you start commenting and losing your mind, take it all with a grain of salt. We know that we have only seen what they've done in college. We understand they have not played yet, but we're talking about it because that's all we've got to do right now, and we're going to talk about what we've seen and how we see it playing out. So, Save those comments for another time. Brian, let's hear it, man. What are you thinking about this wide receiver room?
You know, it's funny. A couple days ago, I went back and watched like our reaction show to, the draft picks, obviously Rager, and then, the picks that happen afterwards. I'll just put it plainly, which picks I'm talking about there. And I said it then, I'm going to continue to say it. My fear, before I get to the positives, my fear is that we're going to look back on this offseason and talk about missed opportunity, both in the draft and in free agency and maybe even trade. Obviously, I could talk about Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb because we were easily a trade away from getting both of them, either one of them, to be honest, whether we're Jeudy guys or CeeDee Lamb guys. And that's no shot at Jalen Reagor. I've always said that I liked Jalen Reagor. I had them trading back to get him around 28, 29. But my fear with Jalen Reagor as opposed to a Jerry Jeudy or a CeeDee Lamb is that in this system, on this team, I'm confident that Jalen Reagor could be a very good player in with what we're trying to do. CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. They're going to be good wherever they go unless it's the Redskins or an organization that they just don't know how to use talent. So that's my fear on that, in a kind of a comparison. I've just completely – I was a Jefferson guy, to be honest. I've completely forgotten about that because – as we've seen, it clearly shows that we wanted speed, quote unquote. And even though people want to say Jefferson doesn't have speed, even though every play of him beating guys on the outside and on the inside shows he has speed, I'll just leave that right there. I won't go into that tangent again. And it was kind of like I just thought of it, okay, that we could have easily, because we all know the reports that came out right after that pick, and especially before the Jalen Hurts pick, that they didn't want to trade up to get either Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb because they would have had to have given up the 53rd pick, which would end up obviously getting them Jalen Hurts. To me, let's say that they just stay there, okay? Let's just forget the trade up thing because it seemed like they were never going to do that because the holy 53rd pick. We were one brain cell away, okay, that Howie Roseman clearly didn't use that night, from having Reagor, all right, and J.K. Dobbins, or Reagor, and to go back to a couple shows ago, a couple Fridays ago with the offensive line, a Hennessy, anybody to have insurance on the interior offensive line. And I heard this, it was a Boston radio station the other day, and I also followed it up with an article. I heard it, and then I read it, and they're saying Bill Belichick plans to use Cam Newton in a Taysom Hill on steroids role. So then I just sat back and said, wait a second. So Carson Wentz is a bigger guy. Cam Newton, while we don't think he's a great quarterback anymore, had that one run, been to a Super Bowl, also an MVP, also has years of experience in the NFL. Patriots signed him for what, Jimmy? $1 million? Something extremely cheap.
Yeah. $580 guaranteed or something like that.
So do you mean to tell me, and I wasn't even going to go into I'm not even talking about the Jameis Winstons. I'm talking about if we're going speed and Taysom Hill with steroids is what they're trying to do with obviously Jalen Hurts. You mean to tell me we could have had Reagor, Dobbins, or Hennessy or interior offensive line? Well, I'll go Dobbins. Reagor, Dobbins, and Cam Newton. And I'm not saying I want it because I hear you. Oh, my God, that would have been a distraction. Oh, because the Jalen Hurts thing isn't a distraction? First take led off with it the last week.
Your second-round pick, yeah.
Yeah, so, again, I think it's an extreme missed opportunity with not even talking about being able to trade for DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham, Stephon Diggs. I mean, I can go on a list. I like what they're doing, but there's a hell of a lot of question marks.
Now, do you think it's a lack of trying? Or do you think teams like the Texans were pissed that we traded in front of them for Dillard and didn't want to trade us Hopkins? Or are you thinking that it's
Howie
really
stupid? I think it's stupid is what
it's misevaluating. That's
Rob.
Yeah, it's stubborn.
Rob feeling strong about it.
No, he rubbed spot on. I completely agree.
Ryan touched
definitely makes stupid decisions.
Sure. About the draft right here, and I'm trying to be respectful and not talk over him. But the draft was a disaster. For you to sit there and pick Jalen Hurts at pick 53 and call yourself a QB factory when you have Carson Wentz and a guy in Nate Steffeld who has no track record, but you put a second-round tender on in restricted free agency so that no one else would even think about signing him, and you're going to draft a quarterback anyway instead of Dobbins. I mean, I don't see how your top defense against the run with Sean Bradley or whatever his name is from Temple starting at middle linebacker. But getting back to the receivers, I think the forgotten move here in this offseason is getting Goodwin from San Francisco.
Yeah,
he's a veteran. He's fast. Carson likes to
stay if he can stay healthy. That's another thing. Can he stay healthy, Rob?
Get what you pay for. Ralphie, you gave up a 5th-round pick for him?
Not even.
Traded back 20 spots, 190 to 210, and restructured them for $1.35 million. So you're really small risk. Yeah,
I think that could be your Torrey Smith move of next season.
I like it.
We had Teron Davenport, who used to cover the Eagles. He covers the Titans down there for on the Sports Hounds just after the draft, and he couldn't say enough good things about John Hightower out of Boise State.
Nice.
I'll bite on that. As well. So Carson has weapons this year. But I like the Rager pick. I think it's going to work out for him. But I was a Jefferson guy, but I don't know how you can't afford. Like, who would you rather have, J.K. Dobbins or Boston Scott? Like,
yeah,
come on.
How about it?
That's easy. Can I get my answer now, J.K.?
And Jeremy Chin, someone mentioned
that Giants game. Boston Scott did great in that Giants game. He really stepped up and got us to clinch that playoff spot. But I mean,
he's not a second string running back though, Rob. He's not.
The guy you trade right after that game because his stock will never be any higher. And then you draft J.K. Dobbins instead of making this Fugazi QB factory when the guy who made you a QB factory just won a Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Howie Roseman's taking credit for a QB factory he had nothing to do with. It was all Andy Reid for 20 years.
I'm glad you brought it up and you went there because we're talking about offensive weapons and you had a chance to add someone like J.K. Dobbins. And it's like, wait, so you're telling me you wanted to go like you're fine everywhere else. You can actually just pick wherever you want based on talent. So you're telling me that a running back like J.K. Dobbins or a safety like Jeremy Chin wouldn't have made this team 10 times better. But you go ahead and quarterback factory. What the Nate Sudfeld? Kyle Lauletta? That's a quarterback factory? Yeah, you're fucking high, man, because we're not.
Look at J.K. Dobbins' skill set. And look at skill sets that thrive in the Andy Reid
You would have been perfect.
Offense. It's right there for you.
And you know what happened right after we took the quarterback? A really good organization that went and already had a really good running back in Mark Ingram. You look at, obviously, the Baltimore Ravens. Because I always hear this, scenario after the draft. Oh, well, why did we need J.K. Dobbins? We had Miles Sanders. The Baltimore Ravens had Mark Ingram, and they still took Dobbins. You know why? It adds to the talent on the roster.
Everybody's got two really good running backs. It's a 2 running back league now.
We won the Super Bowl with Blunt and Ajayi.
The Ravens sat their draft day and said, "Oh, Patrick Queen's still there? I'll take him. Oh, J.K. Dobbins is still there?
Yeah, Ravens really gave it to us, man.
Baltimore, baby. It's just
Ravens.
The Ravens up and down the board. Not to get on the Ravens, but I mean up and down the board for the Ravens. I mean they had a stellar draft.
And they took their speed guy. They took their speed guy in Duvernay. They took my other guy. It's like all of our kids they took. All of them.
They did. And, I'm really glad that Rob brought that up because it's like we had a chance to add more offensive weapons. Now, you guys know I'm a little different, and I was huge on Rieger before the draft. I just love the kid. I think he's perfect. But I totally understand where Tom and Ryan are coming from because, listen, you get a guy like Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. That's your X receiver, baby. That's your number one. That dude is going to smoke people. Now we hear things from Doug Pederson like, oh, yeah, well, we're going to take our time. He's going to learn. We ain't got time, man. We're trying to win a Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. So, if you're using the 21st pick over Justin Jefferson, well, you better use the damn kid.
And the thing about going into this draft, too, I mean, we sat here, months and weeks before the draft saying, okay, you have 3 guys that are on the board and in Ruggs, Jeudy, and Lamb that can come in and are going to change your wide receiver room snap of a finger, right? Snap of a finger.
I feel like
two of them were in your reach, and you did nothing. did nothing at all.
Yeah, but if you want to take Dobbins at 53 and then tell me, yo, we couldn't give up 53 because we had Dobbins pegged. He's our guy.
I'd be okay with it. Yep.
That's fine.
I'm completely fine with that.
But you took Ertz. Yep.
But
That's why we're all pissed because it hurts.
And the other thing, the fact that how we woke up on that, what was it, Saturday night or Saturday morning, and said if Jalen Hurts is at 53, we're taking him.
You called Carson to say that. What the?
Blows my mind.
Me
Absolutely
too.
blows my mind.
Me too, man.
Well, what do you think of the reports that they did that in case Carson gets COVID?
I think that's ridiculous. I mean, you got to be careful through anything. Any kind of injuries that he could deal with. So I think, he's brought here to be the backup quarterback. People want to say Taysom Hill. You're not going to put up your pick 53 out there as a Taysom Hill project. Maybe a year or two down the road, but halfway through the year, maybe. But
Saints thought under center quarterback, they probably wouldn't have signed Jameis Winston for $1 million. Taysom Hill is a toy. Taysom Hill is a gadget.
Yep, exactly. He's a quarterback. Hurts is a quarterback for us.
Here's the thing, too, because that's a great point, Rob. To me, with that report, I think that report is an absolute reach because if the quarterback factory was truly real, and going back to the words of both Howie Roseman and Doug Pederson and Frank Reich 2.5, almost 3 years ago.
And Nate Sudfeld would be Brett Favre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They said Nate Sudfeld.
How's Clayton
not Kevin Cobb.
Yeah,
fifth-round pick last year.
They said Nate Sudfeld was a future starting quarterback in this league 3 years ago, they said.
They're trying to trick some other teams into trading for him. Exactly.
So if they truly believe that, which we all know they don't because we don't believe that, no offense, Sudfeld. I mean, Sudfeld's a good guy, everything. Like, we appreciate you. On the bench, we don't ever want to see you on the field.
The reason Josh McCown's playing over you.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Thank you.
That's not fair.
Exactly. If they were so worried about the backup quarterback position, they wouldn't have passed on every guy beforehand that they could have paid $1 million for.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, go right ahead, Tommy.
We're circling back to the draft, and I don't even know why we get upset about it anymore. I truly don't even know. Because if you just look at trends is all you got, right? The trends of Howie Roseman draft day flat out stink. Flat out stink. The trends of Howie Roseman all season are very good. Usually he's good at signing free agents, getting guys under the radar, putting a roster together. Draft day, Howie Roseman hasn't been good. Has not been good. This was a big year for him. We all sat on shows leading up to it, explaining on how big of a year this was for him. And a big-time flop out of Howie Roseman. Now, I can like Jalen Reagor. I'm like, I got to see the kid, man. I'm not going to – if you trade Jerry Jeudy, I'm running the Broad Street. Right now, I got to see the guy, okay? I'm not going to come out here and be like, Jalen Reagor's a stud or Jalen Reagor's the worst pick of all time. I can't say either one right now, all right? Because there's not enough homework when you're talking about TCU right now. Can we calm down? So we need to see what he can do compared to a guy at LSU who you could have drafted who just caught 100 and something balls. That's all he did, catch footballs. Okay, we're going to find out. But then you go and you do what you did later on in the draft. Listen, Trying Davenport, with all due respect, and come on and talk about the blue field and talk about John Hightower all he wants. All right. We're talking about fifth-round wide receivers now. Can we calm down? You can like them all you want. Name fifth-round wide receivers that end up being like somebody that stays on for a while. It's not realistic. It's not realistic. He might have a skill set. Good for him. The biggest person to this offense, and nobody on this panel is going to like it. Rob said Marquise Goodwin. The biggest addition for this Eagles offense is a guy for some reason nobody likes, and I don't know why, is Alshon Jeffery. And you guys can comment in and try to crush me about it all you freaking want. But a guy's got him. Payday's coming up. You know how that works in this league. Payday's coming up. Alshon Jeffery, when he does up on this football field, is going to have a real big impact on his entire offense. And y'all don't got to like it, but there's speed all around him. When there's speed all around him, now he can stretch a little bit at times. I'm telling you, that's the key to this offense. You got all this. Congratulations. I need a guy who catches everything.
Yeah, and that was it the other day or the other week when we were talking about that. And Tom, you were on. We were talking about the offense. Everybody wants to talk about all of the additions, and I am excited about all the additions, and I can't wait to watch these kids so I can finally gauge something on the field. And, like Tom said, Jalen Rieger's playing against, some competition. If you watch the tape against Ohio State, kid balled out. So that gives me hope. He does play well against good competition, but it's all taken with a grain of salt, man. Who gives a damn what you did in college? I don't care. So we want to see it. We want to taste it, baby. We want to see you blow the top off and just open this offense up. So until we see it, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves, but I'm excited there. But you look at someone like Alshon Jeffery, I don't give a damn. And Tom, we both talked about this. People rag on us. Dude, he's one of the best receivers that in the red zone right now. If you have Ertz, Goddard, him, who the hell are you covering? And you got speedsters everywhere. I think the guy's going to shine. So I think having him and Jackson, even for 10 games, it still is going to really help this offense.
Yeah, but is Alshon Jeffery healthy?
Well, that's what I mean. Is he even going to start? He might start on the pump.
They claim he is.
He's going to start running. I mean, apparently.
Has the same injuries Jalen Mills did.
We played this game. We played this game with DeSean.
Nah, I don't care if he's back in November. November's when I win. Sorry, Rob. November's when I win. November and December is win time. That's money time. So if he's back in November, so be it. He's not missing the whole season. He's owed a lot of money. So when he's healthy, guess where he's going to be, boys? On the damn football field. Because they're paying way too much for him to sit on the pine. Way too much. This is how this league works. It's not like the guy stinks now. He just got banged up. He hasn't been himself, but I really, truly believe when we saw from him and DeSean week 1, if we could see that over a period of time, and even if it's 8-9 games, I think it can be very dynamic, this offense. But a lot depends on who your possession guy is. You got a lot of speed, but you don't have a guy who's going to catch 8 to 10 balls for you outside of Ertz on the outside. You don't have it. You need a possession guy. Is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside going to be it? You guys can tell me, yeah, but we got to see that, right? So that's why Alshon and the money he's owed is so important for this year. And if we want to get to where we want to get to, which we want to talk NFC title games, etc., Alshon Jeffery's got to be a big part of that. And people don't have to like it, but if you're relying on a bunch of rookie wide receivers, you're all drinking too much of the damn green Kool-Aid. If we're John Hightowering, the freaking walking.
Howie Roseman designed the roster to be relying on these rookie rosters. It's not our fault.
No, it's not your guys' fault, but we're so – listen, it's not the fans' fault. We're in such need and want of some dynamic playmakers on the outside that you could sell us any pick in the 5th round that was a wide receiver with speed. We'd be like, oh my God, that's the guy. There he is. You know what I mean? Anybody in the 1st round we drafted that had some speed, you're going to be a little more excited about than what you have, right? But at the end of the day, do we trust the guy who's picking them? I sure as hell don't, but time's yours.
Yeah, Howie has definitely had some big misses for sure. I think that he's definitely going to hit on the Rieger pick, but after that, it gets very questionable. So, you look at, you can't rely on those receivers.
He might hit on Jalen because of Carson. You know what I mean? The only reason it might look like I think Jalen's a good player, but regular that is. But Carson's going to make or break that. If the kid has any talent and Carson's healthy, he's going to raise his talent up. You would hope.
What do you see? All these Rager like diehards that think he's just the greatest pick ever. What is it about?
Dude, Jimmy, ask him.
Yeah,
man. Dude, I sat there.
Oh, this guy's no doubt about it. He's great. He's going to be a dynamic playmaker.
Well, honestly, I got to break it down, and it was just what receiver would fit the Philadelphia Eagles the best. And, I got to sit there, and when you're looking at pick 21, you had to think, in my mind, I'm not saying that Jalen Rieger was better than CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy. In my mind, it was, okay, this is a guy that is probably the best fit for us that we'll make a move for. Because if you look at how Doug Pederson wants to run this offense, you saw what we were capable to do with that little sample size with DeSean Jackson and Alshon Jeffery. They pray that it's Arcega-Whiteside and Rieger in the future. But, you want a speedy guy like that to take off the top. And he would essentially be your Tyreek Hill that, Andy Reid has. I liken him more to a Steve Smith, a young Steve Smith. He needs to toughen up more. But the kid, when you watch him, like Tom said, he's at TCU. So it's like really hard to gauge that stuff,
Bro, he didn't get pressed for a year and a half. You understand? Like he
don't do press.
Maybe Ohio State pressed him. They probably did at times, but he didn't get press coverage for his whole time.
Oh no, he doesn't get pressed. He needs to work.
Let's say 2.25 years. Let's say 2 3/4 of a year of his 3 years. He didn't get press coverage. So hopefully Papa at home was press covering him a little bit.
Well, that's why, and I talked about that, why he would come here, and he isn't going to be the X receiver because you still have Alshon Jeffrey to do that. And you hope that Arcega-Whiteside's that guy that you used the damn second-round pick on last year.
Hold on. Your answer to my question is
I'm still answering it.
Is he's fast?
Not at all. I'm answering it for you. Listen. So you want a guy that's going to come in and he's going to play that Z receiver. He's going to play off. He doesn't play with the press because, like Tom said, he hasn't had that. He really hasn't. So he needs to work on that. He needs to work on his blocking. We know that. We know his weaknesses. This guy's going to come in. He's going to be used in the run game, the return game. He actually works. See, people don't understand this. He works on all three levels. He's got great hands. His concentration drops are actually due to the fact that he had a terrible team. And his on-target pass percentage was the third lowest at 30.7%. It was a shit show. 7 different quarterbacks throwing to him. So it's hard to gauge it, but everything you see, the kid was phenomenal. I think he's going to be another Steve Smith in this league.
I mean,
he does it all. He's not just speed, man. He does all 3 levels, catches the ball.
Quarterback play? Shouldn't he be able to overcome bad quarterback play if he's Steve Smith?
Yeah, and he did.
Receiver, Tyreek Hill. That's the bar we're setting for this kid.
Yep.
I pray to God you're right. This team needs him to be right.
For sure.
Resume needs him to be right, but I can't go there yet. I see a fast guy that is going to be our punt returner.
Oh, can I just tell you guys something? Can I just tell you guys something? Can I just say something? You're on Instagram. You guys are on social media. All right. Go watch the damn footwork drills that Jerry Judy. Go watch CeeDee Lamb's footwork. Then go watch Jalen Reagor's footwork. And everybody circle back to me. Everybody circle back. Because at the end of the day, there's not going to be 10 wide receivers that are good. So guys are going to end up stinking and flopping. I just hope we didn't get the guy who stinks and flops. I think CeeDee Lamb stinks and flops because I don't think he's that good. I really, truly don't. Jerry Judy was the can't-miss guy in this draft. That was the only wide receiver in this draft.
Phenomenal.
That's can't miss because the puppies just go like this. Puppies
Well, yeah, but just because they're good doesn't mean that Reagor's not. So I think that those two are going to be phenomenal for sure.
No, I think CeeDee Lamb's going to stink. Okay, I'm putting this on. I don't think CeeDee Lamb's any good. I watch his footwork. I don't think it's good enough. He's got to get better with his footwork. All right. I'm going to tell you, I don't know about Jalen Reagor. I don't know. I think he's more explosive than CeeDee Lamb, truthfully, honestly. Yeah, I think he's got more burn than him. I don't know if he's as good a possession guy-ism as CeeDee is. We got to figure that out over time. Okay, but both guys never got pressed. Judy, at least we know, got pressed, and all he did was beat everybody, and he can run every route in the tree, essentially, right? Like a quarterback. When you draft the quarterback, he can make every throw. When Jerry Judy can run every route. That's the difference. Now, can Jalen Reagor turn himself into a guy who can run every route? I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying when that guy's that close, you do whatever you can't get over on John Elway. If you can't get over on John Elway, fire yourself immediately.
Get over on
this football team doesn't have Jerry Judy on it. And this isn't a shot at Jalen Reagor. It's a shot at the organization that Jerry Judy's not on this football team. And every GM in the country, it would be trying to get up and they need a wide receiver that bad. That's your franchise quarterback. So what do you do to him? You take a punt returner and a kick returner bullshit over and a quarterback over freaking a number 1 for 10 years. It's a disgrace. And I don't care. Maybe Jalen can play. Good for him. Maybe both can play. Congratulations. Okay? I got a can't miss guy there who fell in my fucking lap, who should have went top 10. I can't deal with this nerd anymore.
How he should have done more? Do you think he tried? Or I mean, sometimes people want to take a guy like Judy. You don't. I mean, the Broncos are probably thinking the same thing. Jimmy,
I drafted Jalen freaking Hurts and Davian Taylor. Okay? Them picks are irrelevant. They both could have got shipped. When I got an opportunity to get a can't-miss kitten, right? And a little puppy who's a can't-miss, he's going to grow up to be big. And I don't go up and get him. I'm a disgrace as an organization. Nobody needed a wide receiver more than us in this draft. Nobody in the country, not even some freaking Canadian leagues, needed a wide receiver as much as we did. Canadian football leagues didn't need it as much as we did.
Yeah.
XFL's out of business. They didn't
agree with you.
As much as we did.
But I'm just saying, do you think that we tried or we just didn't try? Do you think because a team like the Broncos probably didn't want to trade out?
Jimmy,
we didn't try.
He heard they wanted 53, and Howie hung up because he He's a nerd. He's a loser.
If that's true, then he made a big mistake. I just don't know if I believe that to be true. I mean, if that's true, then that's BS.
All I'm telling you is, if you really wanted to get a deal done, and you're willing to give your second and third round pickup hypothetically,
the guy traded Kiko Alonso and Byron Maxwell for Carson Wentz in essence. 2 separate trades. He moved up twice in one draft.
He did well there.
You can't move up 3 fucking spots to get a receiver.
You know why? You know why he didn't? Because of the freaking Wonderlic. You know why he didn't? Because of the Wonderlic. I don't give a rat's ass about the Wonderlic test. You understand? I'm not bringing Jerry Jeudy home for Christmas dinner. All right? I'm not bringing him home around the family. This is football, baby. I don't care if he's the biggest guy in the world. I don't care if he's the biggest moron in the country where an IQ is 0. Can you run the routes, baby, and catch the ball and go get and we get the that's all we want.
That's true.
Jimmy, let me ask you this because I know the answer.
PTSD. Shit.
I'm just going to ask Jimmy this question because I know Rob's answer, Tom's answer, and Ralph's answer, and I think I know the fam's answer. Jimmy, who would you rather have, okay? Jerry Jeudy or Jalen Hurts and Jalen Rager?
And that Davian Taylor. And this screw him.
I mean, I think that's a pretty obvious answer.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm with you guys. I'm just playing devil's advocate, asking you why you think it didn't happen. Because, I mean, I think they should have too. But I was sitting there, are the teams just hating on us, not allowing us to move up? Or what's happening here? Because I didn't know we were going to pick Hurts. Because if I would have known that, you're damn right, I would have happily traded all that for Jeudy. Because Jerry Jeudy was the best receiver in this draft.
Jimmy, the funny thing is, the answer to your question on why it didn't happen is my question. Because if I asked Howie the same question, his answer would be different than all of ours.
Quarterback factory.
You know what I'm saying? Like if he said, like if you had the red pill and the blue pill, okay, going back to the Matrix.
No doubt.
If you had Jerry Jeudy is the red pill and the blue pill is the 3 picks we actually made, he's obviously taking the blue pill.
Yep. I like what I think you said, that
taking
Rager at 28, right? Moving back and acquiring more picks. If you weren't going to trade up, at least trade back. You probably could have got Rieger a little bit further back, but no, you wanted to. Yeah. We know, and someone said, I'm smarter than you. That's exactly what it was. I'm going to pick Jalen Rieger at 21. You better hope you're not wrong.
He tried to play games like that, and he missed out on his boy Dalvin Cook, and then Pat, who stinks.
Never forgive him for that, dude.
I think the way we can sum up that entire draft, because again, it's not even a reach, it's Howie's words. It was his redemption draft because, to Rob's point, he wasn't going to move back because the last time he moved back, he missed out on Dalvin. And he took Jalen Hurts because he says he still has nightmares about not taking Russell Wilson. But the
so he got scared and then he messed up.
You have Carson Wentz. He might be better than Russell Wilson.
And you could have taken Lamar. You could have taken Lamar Jackson if he was talking about redemption year 2 seasons ago.
What's up, Tom?
Question for the audience.
Let me ask you guys a simple one. All right, this is simple. Would you trade 7 picks for Jerry Rice?
Yes.
Would you trade?
I don't care which 7 either.
Yeah, I'm just making. Would you trade 7 picks for Randy Moss, hypothetically? Would you trade? I mean, just go through the great. Would you trade 7 picks for Terrell Owens? Would you trade 7 picks for A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Okay, abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah. So you just can't target talent good enough. He drafted a guy in the 2nd round last year. We had dudes running down this thread talking about 8 to 10 touchdowns.
DK.
Oh. Okay. And J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, right?
So Brown.
Missed, as of right now, missed big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
How the hell am I supposed to come into this draft and trust anything he does? Anything. If it wasn't the guy that I knew was great and we knew that was great, then how can I trust it? I just can't. I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I love this football team. I think this roster's loaded up because of what he does in free agency, right? So, I mean, that's my thing with him, man.
Yeah. Well, it better pay off for him. He gets to hide behind that a lot. You're right.
I'll ask you guys this, the thing I brought up earlier with the Cam Newton thing, okay? And like I said, if I have a choice, I'm not taking either of them. I'm just staying with Carson Wentz and living and dying by Carson Wentz because We didn't win with
You shouldn't have to, Rye. Sorry, you shouldn't have to.
You're right.
You have the great Nate Sudfeld, the quarterback factory.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have to.
La Letta, man.
But if we were stuck in this fantasy land, like you were saying on draft night and draft night 2 and draft night 3, the spinner toys, the little trick artists that seems like we've gone to.
Me and Robin were jumped off the wall that night. I mean,
I was ready to kill. I literally was irate, like not good times.
Because, like, it seems like Howie's forgotten that, like, when we won the Super Bowl, like, it wasn't based off of trickery or speed. It was about, okay, good quarterback play, a good defense that gets the quarterback, and, I don't know, receivers that know how to catch the football.
and a great
Big one.
If we were just stuck in this tunnel vision of, okay, we have to get a trickster, okay, who would we rather have? Jalen Hurts with the 53rd overall pick or Cam Newton for $1 million?
I'll take Cam Newton. I want, and I agree with you. I want
Give
to
me my pick back, yeah.
But like, you guys we can't press it enough, man. I didn't even need an interior lineman in the second round. The guy was on the board. It's a flat out freaking disgrace. You bring Corey Clement back, with all due respect to Glassbarrow, not good enough. Okay, I don't care how many freaking hills you run up with a freaking thing on your back, and people are like, he's gonna have a monster year now. Get a clue, okay? Get a clue. All right, I don't care. Stop watching this dude. Everybody works out. Every pro athlete can run up a hill great. Everyone. Oh my God, he looks great. Look at his body. Look at his legs. Stinks. Okay? Boston Scott, with all due respect, I ain't buying. I want a Super Bowl with a power dude, with some power cats. All right? Miles, to me, can run with some power. He's learned how to. But I need somebody behind him that can. I need to change the pace. Jordan Howard was so complimentary to Miles Sanders because they were different. And linebackers talked about, oh my God, I didn't even see him come through the hole. I just saw Jordan 5 carries in a row, and now I see Miles, and it's a blink of an eye. That's what you got to do. You got to change it up for defenses. Yeah. It can't just be speed. You need other things. This guy's a joke. He said, listen, you guys should never did this tonight. I was fine. I feel great about this roster, but this guy's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Jimmy, you know what's perfect timing? I feel like it's almost
right. Real quick,
yeah,
I created a simulation. We could have went. You know what? Just simulate the Eagles picks, fam. We're just gonna hold on. Let me find the simulation button. There it is. We're gonna simulate the Eagles picks in this draft, and we would have came out better. We would have came out better. We would have been like,
our simulation show the week before was better, Tom. Remember when we did the simulation show? It was better. I don't even know if we took a receiver, but it was still better.
I think I yelled at your list. When we did ours, I think I yelled at your list, and it was still better.
Yeah, because I am taking four wide receivers. Which, again, still no backup quarterback, though. So either way.
They made a bunch of wide receivers just, later.
Yep, true. Jimmy, I think this is almost destiny because I'm scrolling here, and CBS Sports comes out with another ranking system, okay? But it goes right to Tom's point and what we were saying earlier about kind of the missed opportunities, forget about just at the wide receiver core, but the running back core. They are ranking every single one of the running back cores. And I'm just like, when Tom was talking, I was just doing a scroll because they have multiple. They have the top 2 on each. Some of them they just have like Saquon Barkley. The
Eagles is any good.
It's actually hideous where like the Eagles are ranked.
Right, like 25th.
Well, I mean, Miles is a stud, but you're really sitting here telling me that Boston Scott is a competent, like,
bring in Devontae.
Like, what would you guys rather have? Like
anybody. Sorry, anybody with some power is my second right. Right, any freaking name you got.
Jordan Howard has more career rushing yards than Derrick Henry.
It's a joke. It's a joke that you let
Jordan
Howard.
Now he's a Dolphin. Yeah, now he's a Dolphin.
It's a joke you let Jordan Howard walk out your door.
It really is.
It's a big joke.
Everyone's all Derrick Henry'd up. Jordan Howard has more career rushing yards than Derrick Henry.
Well, that's why they brought in Darrington Evans. I think that's going to be, they know, 1-2 punch, man. They get it.
Yeah, because they have Mike Vrabel and whoever they're
exactly.
They get A.J. Brown last year. Look, guys walk off the street and get 1,000 yards in this league with the way the rules are. Except for the guys
Tom, I think we
can figure it out.
Tom, I think I found our second topic for Wednesday. We're going to it's going to be a who'd you rather of running back course, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty at all.
I'll take any running back core.
Yeah, we need to add to this one. I agree with that, and that's something we've talked about for the last couple of weeks. Because it's questionable. Very
Yeah, we
questionable.
It's kind of neat, right? There's no backs out there, are there? Unless I'm missing something.
Devontae Freeman, that's it.
Buck Allen maybe would be okay, but I wouldn't trust him to carry the load either. So it's like you can't. I mean, he's good at pass protection and can run and can block. I mean, you got a guy that can do everything. If you're going to bring in anyone, you got to bring in somebody.
I'm serious. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm going to the. And maybe he already did, but Howie, let's try a little bit harder, okay?
Right, you calling him one up?
No, I'm not Ralph. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm just saying, like, who the hell you calling?
I'm calling the Jacksonville Jaguars and offering up a third for Leonard Fournette.
Stop. No.
What?
He won't do. He won't. He won't come here and be happy. You don't want that.
No.
That guy's
going to be a backup, and he's going to be suspended.
No, he's not a backup. He's a complement. It's a tandem. There was no quote unquote. There's no bell cow in 2017.
We don't know how
fed off of each other.
Yeah, they're going to run Miles. It's Miles. Give the ball to Miles. You throw the ball to Miles. You hand the ball off to Miles. You pitch the ball to Miles.
Yeah. I just don't want to run him into the ground. That's my only.
I don't care about that. It's a year to year. I want to win a Super Bowl this year.
We don't know how good.
Guess what? Miles Sanders touched the ball 300 times this year. I don't want to hear anything about. I don't want to hear anything about. Oh, we're going to tire him out. No, this is what
we need him in the playoffs too, brother.
Yeah, I mean, if you tire him out, he's already been banged up already. He's been banged up like 3 times in one season.
Can I please get this off my chest? It's so important. It's so important. We don't even know how good he really is. We overvaluate the world here. We act like we got Saquon in the backfield. Can we shut the hell up? Jeez. I mean, I love Miles. He's really good. He's really talented. But like, can we put a little track record together before we're Crown City in this city? It's amazing to me. Listen, he has some explosive plays.
He's really good. He's really good.
Very good, but let's calm down. Like, you're talking about 300 carries. Get a grip. Okay.
Chucks isn't here, so like.
Miles is very good. All I'm saying is, before we act like he's in the top echelon of running backs in this league, can we have him do it for 2 years?
He's probably not even in the top 10.
Well, that's my point. But in this city, you would think that he's top. In this city, you think they act like he's top 10. They act like some guys might even throw him in the top 6. So my point is,
right? Yeah, I think you're right.
I love Miles, but can we just see another year before we're like, we got Saquon? Like, calm down. Like, I love the kid, but he's
gonna have every opportunity to put up safe numbers because he's gonna be touching the ball an awful lot.
Well, the offense is going to open up. I think he's going to do well, but I agree with you. I think that, there's question marks, man. You got to add somebody to this room. You got to.
It's not fair to him. Like, it's not fair that you have nothing behind you of any type of compliment. Yep. You know what I mean? It's just a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Especially in this league. Like you said, you can't do that in today's game. You can't. And Kevo, I believe in Jalen, brother. Calm it down. But yeah, man, I think that this running back room is one of the very questionable ones. So I'm intrigued to see that list, even though CBS sucks at lists. But I'll laugh at that one. And
who's one?
Yeah, who is number one?
Well, no, they went division by division. They didn't do the full 32 ranking. They ranked them at like 1, 2, 3, 4 in divisions.
Or were the Eagles 4th?
No, they had Miles by himself ahead of Pederson and Geis.
Redskins, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
the Redskins.
Oh, Big Moose, we appreciate the contribution earlier, brother, on your coach's list. And listen, I don't come in here I ain't going to the library coming in here. We're coming in here to get wound up.
Right? It's about, baby. We talked about before the show. This was going to be a live one. So when you guys come here, you better be ready to get live.
Rob always says, that time just yells to get his point across. There's substance there. But listen, if I don't bring my energy and effort, then I'm not, then what am I doing to the people? That's disrespectful to the people. They come here, they want energy, effort, just like we want on the football field, right? And then I got to bring my energy and effort to the conversation. If I said it, like, oh, yeah, that's good. That's smart, guys. That's a good point. Get the frig out of here. You know what I mean? If I tell you it's a good point, I'm going to get loud. That's a attaboy. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit of, that's all.
We're bringing it to the people, baby. That's what we do. Thanks, Big Moose, for tuning in, man. We appreciate all you guys that are tuning in. We're actually rolling up on 2 hours here, man. It's been awesome. But, we got to talk about the coaches. We got to talk a little bit about the offense here. We're all still a little reeling from the draft, and it is what it is now, man. And we're all just hoping that we can get football back so we can at least see what the hell we have because, dude, we got lots of question marks.
Dan.
Freeman is the best running back in the league. You Sir, put down the drinks because
from.
I thought that he meant like
an Atlanta Falcons logo.
The best free agent available. Is that what you're
that's
saying?
what I thought he meant, but then I read it closer.
Okay, that I cannot go. And how can you say that even as an Atlanta fan? You don't have him anymore.
Logo and his little
Another troll
symbol there, and he's not even on the Falcons anymore. He's the best running back in the league, but he's not even on a team right now.
Exactly.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, they got rid of him.
Dick riding the wrong dude, brother.
Yeah,
They got
a guy with one leg. Boy.
They got rid of the best running back in the league for Tevin Coleman and Uncle Arthritis. Okay,
Yeah.
you say so. You say so, babe.
He knows. He knows. That's why he's got his own.
Get a clue.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
You see me catch
I
up?
love all of you guys, dude. Did you?
You better clip that, Rye. You better clip that toss. I threw the water bottle off of
I didn't see it either. I'll go back.
Stanley's head and caught it like I didn't do it that time, but it bounced off. I was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
great hands, better hands than Aguilar." That's the post for tomorrow. Better hands than Aguilar. There you go. Just give me a free.
God, anyone has better hands than him. But you guys have literally been awesome, and I couldn't thank you enough for coming on. We'll definitely have you on again. Next week we'll be back at 9:00. But every time that you guys tune in, I just literally have to thank you because Tom, because the guys that all work at A2D, all of you guys for giving me a chance to be a part of the family. So thank you guys for welcoming me so warmly, man. And it's awesome. Every show I just get to sit back and I feel like I'm just watching a show again. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be asking questions and stuff. I'm like, anyway. But you guys are bringing that energy that I can feed off of, and I love it. So we'll definitely do this again next week. And, why don't you all give a little goodbye? Tell people where they can find you this upcoming week so they can check out your shows. Rob, why don't you lead us off here quick?
Monday, locking down Monday, 7 to 9. First DH ever, Ron Bloomberg. He'll be with us, I think it's 7, but keep an eye on the social media accounts till we get that all ironed out. Probably going to be a baseball show on Monday. We got baseball going. Great news today with the tested all those guys, only 2.2%.
31.
Love it.
31 guys. That's it.
31 players and 8 staff people had it. I mean, that sounds like a green light to me for baseball. So we're having a baseball show on Monday. We got the first ever DH in the mix, Ron Bloomberg.
Gonna be
Check
awesome.
him out, guys. Check him out. Ralphie.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell them where they can find you, brother.
as I said in the beginning of the show, you can find me everywhere on A2D Radio.
He does it all.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but you can find me on Wednesdays with Ryan and Tommy and Greg and Frank and, those guys. But, yeah, awesome. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., sometimes 10:30 p.m., whenever we feel like going, So, yeah, you can find me on Wednesdays.
Tom, I'm pretty sure these people know where to find you, but why don't you let them know just in case they're a little inebriated and need a reminder.
I never heard of the guy before tonight.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Tom?
Most people didn't. I mean, I'm with these two jabrones to my right and left on Wednesdays with a couple other jabrones. It's a great time. Sunday with a bunch of animals, too. Every Sunday, agree, disagree. So, yeah, we have a ton of fun. But no, I mean, Jimmy, love having you here. It's a great addition to A2D Radio. Another really fucking smart guy, and it just adds on to the list of all the talent we have here. As much as we break each other's balls on here, we got a great group of smart guys. It's there's a couple idiots, but we're not here to point fingers. But overall, we're loaded up here. We got a loaded roster, and like I said, man, I trust everybody here to do their shows and do their shows great, and that's what we've been doing here. So I mean, we're loaded, baby. There's nobody out there in this area that has better shows than us. There's nobody. So if you're not liking, subscribing, and following, I can't help you anymore. We're here to help you. We're for the people. We're here for the people. How many shows we got to give you every night? A couple times. Rob bringing guests all day, every day. So are the other shows. We're bringing big names in here to talk to you. What else can we do? I don't know. Right? Where can they find you?
Yeah, like Tom said, I'll be back on Wednesday talking. We were supposed to do it this week. We saved it. We want to do an entire show based off of it. The great Carson Wentz versus Dak Prescott debate for all the Cowboys and Eagles fans. We're going to be comparing each one of them to all the quarterbacks around the league, doing a little who'd you rather type thing. Well, obviously, we're going to be going right off of the CBS's new running back core list, and it'll be fun, obviously. Ralphie, again, I'll be making Ralph's life a living hell as usual. And listen, the topic, the goal of the night, I think the biggest takeaway is somehow, some way, I hate Mike McCarthy even more because he caused me to go on a rant that I don't even know what I said, and I hate him even more now.
Yeah,
so
love it.
Listen, it happens to everybody. Brother. You just got caught up in it. Yusuf's going to come on. This is we're here for the people. Yusuf, reach out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, Yusuf, he's coming in.
Yeah, he said, "Listen, I want to get into this stuff. Dude, you're on every Wednesday show. Come on with us one Wednesday. You know what I mean? And see how it goes for you. And this is what we're here. We're here for the freaking people. I mean, we can't be any more here for you. We really can't. Yusuf, tell him.
I love it. Yusuf, thanks for tuning in again. You've been here almost every week. I can't wait to tune in Wednesday and see you get a chance to come on, and I'll be on the other end. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Thank you to everybody that's been commenting here. Don, Yusuf, Gavin, Trinity, all of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hockey App Hour. They need more love. Yes, they do. All the love. Everybody, check out A2D. Subscribe on YouTube. Check on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Takeover Talk. This isn't the only show. There's a show every single day for every single need that you could have. Check them out. I promise you will not be displeased. But you can check me out next Friday at 9 o'clock. I will be back. I will have some more guests with me.
Baby.
Don't be nervous. It's Takeover Talk, baby. That's what we do here. And Tom is our fearless leader, and we will be. I mean, look what happened during this quarantine. Look at the other groups. Look what other people did. What did we do? Takeover Talk, baby. So that's what we're here for. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in this Friday night. Have a safe holiday weekend. Happy 4th of July. God bless America. I love all of you guys. And as always, go Birds!